up nearly 100 million views. Then A24 announced that they were adapting it for theaters, and as I am recording this video, the first trailer just came out, and it actually looks good. So maybe someone's gonna finally get this right. But you wanna know the reason it looks so good? Well, Kane Parsons is directing. Yes, the teenager who made Sony look stupid is now making a Hollywood movie, and Sony is still wondering what went wrong with theirs. Okay, so Sony cannot figure out Slenderman. Maybe that's just Sony being Sony, but surely other studios learned from watching this disaster play out twice. Surely, when Blumhouse adapted the internet's other most beloved creepy franchise, they got it right. If you have ever been creeped out by animatronics at a family pizza place, the dead eyes, the mechanical jerkin, that creepy feeling when they stare a little too long, you already know the vibe. That is why Five Nights at Freddy's became a thing. This game built an entire mythology around haunted robots and murdered children, and fans spent years piecing together the lore, waiting for a movie that would finally bring it to life. They got a movie, it just wasn't scary. If you're a kid, honestly, I don't think the movie's that bad, but most of the people watching this movie have probably been fans since they were a kid, so they would have been an adult. It was not scary. The second Five Nights at Freddy's, that was even worse. Anyways, before the film came out, a better version already existed on YouTube. The Walton Files is Martin Wall's deeply disturbing series about Vaughn's burger.
I have to.
Cheese, where something went horribly wrong. Children
I changed my other Steam to my Steam account. This is my brother's.
The project doesn't flinch from showing you what that looks like washed out VHS footage of a wide-eyed cartoon mascot, then a hard cut to those same mascots with bloodied mechanical faces, twitching in ways that they shouldn't, or a tape where one of the killers confesses, their voice breaking while nightmare imagery flashes across the screen. Viewers talk about needing to even pause it because the atmosphere is that suffocating. The Walton Files commits to being disturbing in ways the official FNAF movie never would, because the movie had to be PG-13. It had to sell the toys. God, we need to sell the merch, guys. Think about the profit margin. Think about the toys. Think about the plushies. We need to sell them. We can't do that with a rated R movie. It has to be able to play in malls on a Saturday afternoon. So the animatronics aren't terrifying. They're kind of sweet, honestly. They're literally almost cuddly. And critics called it weirdly tame, which is a polite way of saying we paid for a horror movie and got Hallmark special with robots. Keep in mind, in the lore of these games, children are literally scooped, like their insides are scooped out and put into stuff. That is the lore we are basing up, and we got a cuddly fucking rabbit. One reviewer said they were impressed by how not scary it was at all. Yes, a movie about possessed machines that murder night guards somehow had less tension than an episode of Bluey. The FNAF games work because they're brutal. You're alone, trapped, animatronics want to kill you, and if they catch you, you die. There's no emotional backstory where Freddy Fazbear turns out to be a misunderstood emo boy. He's a monster. And that's exactly the point. The movie didn't trust that, though. They tried to make you feel bad for the robots. It gave the main character family drama and dream sequences and emotional beats that belonged in a completely different film. Every edge got sanded down until nothing was left but a PG-13 husk wearing Five Nights at Freddy's like a costume. The Walton Files, on the other hand, shows children murdered and stuffed inside animatronic suits. The official adaptation made the killer robots look like they would be fun at your birthday party. Studios keep learning the wrong lesson, though. They think bigger audience means softer horror, but when you sand off the edges, you sand off the fear, and without the fear, what is even the point? Which raises a question. What happens when a YouTube creator and a studio tackle the exact same concept? A monster that invades your mind by just knowing it exists. And only one of those creators actually took that idea seriously. The concept is simple. Learn the monster's name, and it comes for you. See its face, and you're marked. Your mind becomes a doorway, and once that door opens, it doesn't close. It's a killer premise. The idea that just knowing something will destroy you. No running, no hiding, no fighting back. Once the information is in your head, you're done. Well, some horror projects ran with this exact idea. One understood what made it work, the other just became a punchline. The World One is a 2024 analog horror short about a hijacked television broadcast. An emergency warning cuts into regular.
My arm itch is really bad, bro.
The Boiled One has been detected. If you see its face, even through your TV screen, you will be visited. When you wake up, you won't be able to move, and it will be there watching forever. The creature's voice is calm, almost creepily gentle, while explaining that you are now cursed, it sounds like a late night radio host reading tomorrow's weather, but in like a cursed tone. I'll see you, it says. Forever, I'll see you. And then the broadcast cuts to static.
Please, bro.
Frames of something red.
Please, I need to be Godric. Give me the grace, give me the grace, give me the grace. Alright. We're good now.
A shape just enough to make you fill in the rest yourself. And what you come up with will haunt you longer than any creature they could design. But if I'm being honest, this is one of the best designed creatures I have seen in any horror. This is really well done. I wish movies would get stuff like this in them. But then there's the Bye Bye Man. It's the same concept. Learn the name, get haunted. If you say it or think it, the creature comes for you. Get it? Bye Bye Man. On paper, this is scary. In execution, it became one of the most mocked horror movies of the decade. The film shows the Bye Bye Man constantly, like full body, full face. And the more you see him, the less scary he gets. He's just some pale dude in a robe shuffling around. That just reminds me of my
Alright, I'm good if I die here, because I'm just trying to...
Not something scary.
I'm just trying to grab items.
Don't think it, don't say it, with total sincerity. And the audiences laughed instead of screamed. Twitter immediately renamed him the Pee Poo Poo Man. Yes, that is the legacy of this movie. Not fear, but the Pee Poo Poo.
Shart. Not a good enemies for this.
I'm not scared of the Pee Poo Poo Man. How many times can I say Pee Poo Poo Man in this sentence? Pee Poo Poo Man. Pee Poo. Reviews called it painfully dull. One critic wrote that even hardcore horror fans would walk away with nothing but a headache. It's the same concept, the same rules.
Ruaburo? Don't know what that is.
The world one sticks with you because it respected the idea.
Boom,
The
boom.
monster hidden, let the dread do the work.
Trying to keep this interactive.
The Bye Bye Man flopped because it showed everything. I never noticed how ridiculous it all sounded out loud. The bold one ends on hopeless dread. The Bye Bye Man ends, well, getting ratioed on Twitter. But showing too much isn't the only way studios ruin a good concept. Sometimes they explain it to death. Imagine taking cosmic horror, the idea that nature itself might be hostile and unknowable, and reducing the entire threat to a single word. Picture this. You're watching what looks like an old educational tape from the 80s. You know, like synth music, cheesy graphics, and a narrator droning on about the solar system. Then, almost casually, the video mentions that a new planet has appeared. One that wasn't there before. One called
I'm about to die.
And the iris, the narrator explains in the same flat tone, consumes other planets. The tape keeps going with the same music and the same energy, as if this is perfect normal information. That's Gemini Home Entertainment, a YouTube series disguised as a box set of
I don't care if I die, man.
nature documentaries,
Just...
safety guides,
Alright.
educational shorts, all hiding something as the world's weirdest animals, and gradually shifts to creatures that should not exist. Wood crawlers that look like trees until they move. Something in the deep ocean that's actually part of something much larger. The videos layer on each other, and slowly you realize they're all connected. Something called the iris is consuming our solar system, and these cheerful educational programs are documenting an apocalypse in slow motion.
What? I have to have that there? Man, it's fine.
Makes it work. Contrast. You expect comfort from this format. This is just a nature video. How bad could it get? And then the content turns your stomach. A PSA about storm safety becomes a warning about storms that are alive. A kid's tape about nutrition reveals that certain foods are now different. The mundane wrapper makes the darkness land harder. Now imagine the
See, how bad do I want the items over there? Not bad enough. I'm not dealing with those little small enemies, bro.
Plants getting revenge because humans are mean to the environment. Well,
Golden
that's
Rune
the happen. M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong's 2008 disaster about a toxin in the air that makes people end their own lives. The concept has potential. Invisible threat, mass hysteria, nowhere to run. But the execution became an accidental comedy that people still reference when they need an example of a movie completely missing the point.
Bam!
Walmart talks
One
to
shot
a plastic plant and asks if it's going to kill him. People lie down in front of lawnmowers. When the big reveal comes, plants did it. The theater might as well be a comedy.
Oh, Mesmer Soldier
Reddit
X. That's
called
kind of
the
cool.
movie a complete riot from start to finish, and they're not complimenting it when they say that. Gemini never explains what the iris actually is. It never tells you how the invasion works or why it's happening. It just shows you evidence something is wrong and lets your brain do the rest. The happening spells everything out, and dialogue is so funky,
Ooh, message armor. That's
any
cool.
tension just dies.
Alright, I'm gonna grab the summon just in case it got skin duo.
The happening makes you afraid of bad writing. But a creepy concept isn't enough on its own. You need to give the audience a reason to stay invested, something to piece together, a mystery worth solving. Which brings us to a movie that took one of the scariest real locations on Earth and somehow made it boring. Pripyat is one of the creepiest places on Earth.
No, don't tell me.
An entire city abandoned hours after the
No boss is that? Is that Wormface or is that Moog?
as it was in 1986.
It's Moog. Please don't be normal Moog. Please be just the sewer Moog, bruh.
And everywhere you look, nature is slowly eating the buildings while radiation keeps everything else away.
I'm just gonna lose 3 flash guaranteed if it's second phase.
The place. Chernobyl Diaries had this gift wrapped to them and still managed to make it pretty boring. The 2012 film follows a
Oh, good lord, my head itch. Oh, well, okay, I'm screwed. Just normal
The
Moog.
premise writes itself. Isolated location, no help coming, something lurking in the ruins. But instead of building dread in the setting, the movie goes generic creepiness on the screen and hopes for the best. Characters make every dumb decision you respect.
Okay.
Shakes,
Bleed.
by one, and none of
Bleed.
it is anything you haven't seen before.
Bleed.
Called it uninspiring, boring, and worst of all, not scary. They had one of the most haunting locations on the planet, and they wasted it on.
Yeah, dude. This isn't good.
Now let's compare that to the Greylock.
But I ain't ever duck a fade.
This is a 2023 analog horror series built around Mount Greylock in Massachusetts. Not exactly a famous creepy location, it's just a mountain. But the project creates its own mythology through leaked security footage, government training videos, and recordings that were never meant to
Do I have...
just like my internet history back when I was 10. The premise is researchers were running experiments in tunnels beneath the mountain, trying to manifest entities from human thought. It worked, and that's when it went very wrong. What makes Greylock effective isn't just the monsters, it's how the project makes you work the story. The clues are hidden in the footage. Timelines don't line up until you piece them together yourself. One tape shows an ultrasound where a baby is visible, and then in frames, it's not. Another has a creature with the voice of someone who died early, calling out for help that isn't coming. You're not watching passively. You're pausing, winding, and comparing notes with people.
Heavy attack.
What's going on? That's the difference between
And then
horror
take the
that
stagger.
engages and horror that just plays. Chernobyl Diaries treats its audience like passive.
Okay, so
Sit
now.
down, watch things happen,
Come on, just please spin to win. Just die, just die. Please, 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 please. I think we got it.
investigators who study
Yes.
classified.
Perfect.
Ooh,
Ooh, the Dectus medallion. Oh, wait. What a coincidence, because I found the Dectus medallion right half from a merchant in Round Table. You're not gonna like Godric, I could care less about what you have to say. Okay.
Engagement matters. If the audience has skin in the game, they care more. If they're just waiting for the next jump scare, then they just check their phones. Honestly, hot take from Chupacabro, I don't think phones are the enemy of movies these days. I know everything is written in a way that like you can understand what's going on if you glance away like 3 times over like 10 minutes, but maybe it's just saying that we need to make...
I need a timer
content.
next time.
Like if you're making a movie and it's not holding someone's attention, then maybe you can set up the stakes properly. I don't know. What do you think about that? Let me know down in the comments below. But what happens when the horror isn't about solving
What
this
do you have here?
When the
Rune
video
Arc will take
itself
it.
becomes a threat. When the thing trying to kill you is your own television. Well, there's a reason emergency broadcasts are scary. That tone, the one that cuts through whatever you're watching and forces you to pay attention, triggers something primal. When that sound plays, your brain is trained to listen, and whatever comes next, you believe.
I never noticed that this guy's thing in his background is Dark Souls 2. It's weird when you don't notice it until you finally do notice it. I want to check what this Scattertree Fragment, Golden Order Principia? I don't know.
You know, standard
Yoink.
Cold War stuff. What to do if there's a national emergency. And then, without changing tone, it instructs viewers to end their own lives. Your greatest weapon is your own mortality, the narrator says calmly. Do not hesitate. The implication is not subtle here. Something invaded. We lost.
Flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop.
Another episode called Weather Service begins as a normal forecast. Then a warning appears.
That means now
the sky is dangerous. Stay indoors.
I
Don't
can
look
do
up.
this,
The
I
video never
think.
shows you what's on the
Okay,
moon.
that gives
The
point
footage
forward.
glitches and distorts,
Not the best thing
suggesting
ever.
something up there
I want to see what Godfrey's thing has. If it doesn't have anything cool,
so well because it hijacks a format that we
then I'm gonna
trust.
take something else.
Emergency alerts exist to protect us. When one tells you to do something dangerous, delivered in that same official tone, it kind of short circuits your defense.
Ooh, Giant Crusher.
Something in your gut accepts it just for a moment, and that moment
That was really
is all
good.
it means. And then
Good lord,
there's
bro.
Rings, the 2017 attempt to keep the Ring franchise breathing. The original worked because
Did
of
you
a
have
simple
anything cool?
premise. Watch the
No,
first
not
tape,
really.
die in 7 days, urban legend horror done right. Mysterious, unexplained, and that image of
Found 2
Samara
prayer
crawling out
books.
of the TV became
Take it
iconic.
off my hands. What do you
This
have
is tried
now?
to modernize by making the tape
Nothing
digital.
cool. I mean, you have Borealis' Mist. That's kind of cool, but I ain't never gonna use it.
The curse spreads through email and
Now.
smartphones. On paper, this updates the concept, but in
I do want to use
execution,
Giant Crusher, but I don't have the strength
everything that
to.
made the original work. The 2002 Samara crawling
I
out
mean,
of
maybe
CRT
I'll use
television
it.
was genuinely creepy.
There's a Dectus
The
half,
17 version
so I
crawling
can
out
use
of a
Dectus
flat
Medallion
screen
now.
with better CGI somehow looked worse. You tell
Keep
me
this
how.
for later,
The movie over-explains
because I have a
adds subplots that
thing that's
nobody
pretty good
asked
with
for,
that.
and kills any mystery the franchise had left.
So let's see.
Critics gave it an 8%
Bloodblade's
on
pretty
Rotten Tomatoes.
cool.
I give it a 0.
It's pretty
The
good.
curse that made audiences afraid of
Was that the only
TVs
one? That was the
became
only
a
one.
franchise
Wait,
that
no.
made them afraid
More
of
bell
certain
bearings. I got multiple bell
features
bearings
shown.
through this.
Local 58 is so good it makes you distrust your own television.
Let's see what Gostock
Rings is so
has.
bad, it just makes you tired and kind of depressed.
Gostock. He has Thunderbolts.
Sometimes they build something great.
I mean, I don't know if I want the
Craftsmanship,
2
and
fingers
also
per brick.
you
I'll
can
take it.
smell, and then panic the last minute.
Anything
Cover it all
else?
up with digital
Tops
paint.
have
So
been
let's find
barely
out what
anything.
happens when a
There's
studio
Gostock,
literally
Pneumatic
replaces
Merchant
something
4.
scary with something worse. John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the greatest
I don't really like
movies
anything
ever
like that.
made. The practical effects, creatures splitting apart, flesh reforming, bodies
Yeah.
becoming something else. It still holds up 40 years later because they look real. They look wet, and they look like they exist in the same space as the actors, because, newsflash, they did, with rubber, latex, and mechanical rigs, all operated by artists who knew that
Can
what
I
you
strengthen my
touch
weapon?
is
Nope.
scarier than what you can render. But then in 2011,
Nothing.
a prequel got made,
Man.
and the studio panicked. Which kind of sucks, because the prequel isn't horrible. It's definitely not as good as the original, but what you probably didn't know
I'm gonna
is
go
that
kill that giant
they
dragon, Caleb.
built practical creature effects for the film, with animatronics, prosthetics, everything was real. Like real physical monsters created by talented artists using the same techniques that made the original so damn good. But then after test screenings, someone decided that it wasn't good enough. So they digitally painted over everything in post-production. The results look rubbery and fake, which is exactly what they were trying to avoid. They spent more money to make the movie worse. The CGI monsters had none of the tactile horror that made Carpenter's version work.
I
They
need,
floated
like,
through scenes like
to
video
be able to
game
hit it with
monsters,
this.
and most critics noticed. Audiences noticed.
This isn't
I
going very
noticed.
well.
The movie flopped, and fans have been begging for the original
I can hit it right there.
cut ever since. This is
So,
where
let me,
studios keep telling on themselves. They don't trust what actually works. But then enter Vita.
Let me
This is a YouTube series disguised
do
as an
this
old
with
nature
my blue
documentary
flasks.
about a parallel ecosystem of living meat creatures. Think educational programming from the 70s with calm narration, graphics, and that dry public television tone. Except the subject matter is nightmare fuel. The narrator explains that a meat snake reproduces through mitosis, splitting itself in half to create new organisms. This mimic species feeds on humans, and a public safety announcement warns about creatures that disguise themselves as lost infants, complete with distorted audio of a baby crying coming from a blob of flesh. Oh, great, man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. The body horror is extreme, but it's delivered so clinically that it lands different. There is no dramatic music, no actors screaming, just a bored-sounding narrator explaining that these things exist, and here's what they do. Your brain processes it like real information, and it makes it so much worse. Vita Carnis makes impossible creatures feel disturbingly real by presenting them like fact. The Thing prequel made real creatures feel fake by covering them in digital paint. Both are about grotesque flesh things, but only one understood that presentation matters more than spectacle. Studios literally keep making this mistake. They do not trust restraint. They don't trust suggestion. They listen to some old boomer in the test screenings who literally doesn't know anything about good horror. They think more money and more rendering power will automatically mean more scary. But horror doesn't work that way. The scariest things are the ones that feel like they could actually exist, or the ones shown so briefly that you're not sure what you saw. And speaking of which, what
The most
happens
boring
when a
part of
horror
Elden
movie
right
takes
here.
one visual gimmick, a creepy smile, and shows it so many times that it stops being scary and starts being a meme. A creepy smile can be one of the scariest images in horror. Something about a face stretched wrong, teeth showing too much, and eyes that don't match the expression. It triggers instant discomfort. Get it right, and the image stays with people for years. Get it wrong, and you become a meme. Well, 2 horror projects built entire stories around this one image. Restraint made one terrifying. Overusage made the other a stupid meme. The Smile Tapes is an analog horror series about a fictional drug that hits the streets in the late 90s. It's called Smile. It does exactly what you would expect. Users start grinning, wide, permanently, and then they get violent. The project plays out through recovered VHS tapes, home videos, news broadcasts, security footage, and somewhere in the back of these tapes, you catch glimpses of infected people. Someone standing in a dark hallway that's visible at the edge of frame, smiling in a way that makes you rewind and check if you really saw it. A friend at a party who looks normal until you notice their face.
Alright.
Just for a second before
So
the
close.
see it. The show never lingers on the smile. You see it and it's gone, which means your brain just has to hold on to it. And holding on to something creepy is worse than directly staring at it. Now here's
Okay.
Truth or Dare, a 2018 Blumhouse film with the same basic premise. A demon forces people to play a deadly game. What is it? Truth or Dare?
Alright, let's go
Whoa,
rush
who
over to
saw
the
that
Grace.
coming? And when it possesses someone,
Boom, boom,
their
boom,
face
boom, boom.
stretches into a wide, distorted grin. Same image and the same potential. The movie shows this
Alright.
constantly in
Now let's
every
level up some
possession, in
endurance.
every threat over
And then a
and
little bit
over
of
in
that.
full focus in bright lighting. By the 3rd time it happens, people were not scared anymore.
We're gonna
I
go
wasn't
to-
scared anymore. They were laughing. Critics compared the effect to a literal Snapchat filter, which I'm pretty sure it was. And here is the incredible part. A character in the actual movie makes that same joke as me. No, that's not even an original joke. They say it in the movie. The filmmakers knew it looked goofy. They acknowledged it and kept going anyway. Reviews call it a lazy, tone-deaf horror flick. I call it absolute shit. The grin was supposed to be the signature scare, and it becomes the thing audiences mock on social media instead. The poster, the trailer, all of it. It's the same.
Where's the
image.
loyalty
One
rate? Did I not
version
buy
is
it?
genuinely unsettling because you only glimpse it, and the other turns into a joke because you couldn't escape it. The second you overexpose the gimmick, it loses all of its power. Your brain adapts, the mystery
Yeah, I'll
dies,
take that.
and suddenly your scary face is just a meme that some fucking 13-year-old girl is going to be posting on her Snapchat story saying streets. But restraint isn't the only thing separating good horror from bad. Sometimes the problem isn't creative choices at all. It's that nobody was in charge to make those choices. What happens when the production itself falls apart and all of that chaos bleeds into every frame? Well, corporate training videos are supposed to be boring. Someone in HR makes a PowerPoint about workplace safety, sets it to cheerful music, and leaves it running in the break room. You tune it out, nobody listens, somebody gets hurt 6 days later. That is the whole design working as intended. Happy Meat Farms takes that format and fills it with body horror. The project is an ARG disguised as internal communications from a fictional biotech company. On the surface, you're watching employee orientation videos and quarterly reports. Clip art, bullet points, a narrator with that too friendly corporate voice
Not too
explaining
bad.
policies. And then, without warning, the content...
I might ban Giant Crusher for being too OP. And then again, this flail's really good. It's been working pretty good.
Massive tumors, extra limbs. The narrator keeps going in that same cheerful tone, explaining that Subject 11 is still alive, in constant pain. Oh, how great to know that. I love knowing that the cow is alive in constant pain. That makes me feel great. The slide then reads, "Thank you for your sacrifice," next to headshots of human test subjects who will never leave the facility. The music doesn't change. The graphics stay peppy. That gap between what you're seeing and how it's being presented is what makes this horror land.
I need 3K because I need that Academy Glintstone key to get into Ray Lucaria.
The tone is precise. The horror creeps into the irony. It is satire and nightmare rolled together in both hits.
What else can I sell? I'm probably not going to use this sword. I can use this one. Oh, I have enough. Yay. But there's no...
exotic productions.
I'll take that bell bearing.
This is the concept. A scientist is creating human-animal hybrids on a remote island. It should have been disturbing. Instead, the movie became famous for everything that went wrong behind the scenes.
Bro, these headphones are scaring me, bro. Oh, there's a claymore too? Might need that later.
Marlon Brando showed up and did whatever he wanted, including wearing an ice bucket on his head during scenes. Val Kilmer was reportedly so difficult to work with that the replacement director later said he would rather die than work with him again. The final film has no idea what it's trying to be. Scary? Sad? Campy? I don't know, you tell me. It shifts randomly because nobody was steering the damn ship.
I never changed it back to Crimson Flasks.
Like bad comedy. The body horror concept gets buried under all of the chaos, and audiences didn't know whether to feel frightened or confused. So, they just didn't care. Happy Beat Farms has total control over every moment. Dr. Moreau had actors wearing ice buckets while the fire director lurked in a rubber costume. One became called horror. The other became a horrible, horrible tale about letting Marlon Brando do whatever he wants.
I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Do not ever let Marlon Brando.
I'll be right back. Real quick while I'm doing this. So give me just a little bit more time. I'll be right back. I'm back. Not like anyone's there, but
he wants. He will destroy the world. Fucking Marlon Brando. Why? But even a smooth production could go wrong if the priorities are broken. What happens when a movie isn't designed to be good, but is designed to sell the next movie? When the franchise matters more than the story? Well, I'll tell you. But first, what if the Statue of Liberty wasn't a symbol of freedom? What if there was something inside it? Something old, something hungry, something that needed to be kept contained? Well, that's the starting point of the Monument Mythos. This YouTube series takes American landmarks and reimagines them as nightmares. The Lincoln Memorial opens up into another dimension. The Grand Canyon emits signals that warp reality. And Mount Rushmore, well, something's hiding in the rock. Each episode is presented through fake archival footage, declassified documents, old newsreels, government training films, all building an alternate history where America's monuments cover up cosmic horrors. The creator, Alex Casananes, built this mythology piece by piece over years. video adds to a larger puzzle, characters carrying between episodes, timelines connecting in ways that reward close attention. It's dense, it's weird, and it works because one person had a vision and followed it wherever it went. Nobody told him to explain less or make it more accessible. He made the thing he wanted to make. Now, here's what happens when a studio does the opposite. When a movie exists not to tell a story, but to set up the next 10 movies. The Cloverfield Paradox dropped on Netflix in 2018 right after a Super Bowl ad. The marketing was clever. Surprise release, big event, but the movie was not. This was supposed to explain the Cloverfield franchise. Where did the monsters come from? What connects the different films? The answer was a part of the Accelerator experiment that ripped open the multiverse, letting creatures from another dimension into reality. That's a workable.
Holy dude, spinning chain, such a broken ass reservoir, bro.
Multiverses in film ever again. I think the Avengers did it once, and then they completely destroyed their entire good faith they built with their audience after that. Like Endgame was a good movie, but have you watched like any of the other Marvel movies since Endgame, other than the Spider-Man one? No, I haven't either. And if I did, they were shit. I just think
where's Ray Lucario?
The multiverse back in the pocket where it belongs.
It's the other direction.
Paradox fumbled the bag. It raised more questions than they answered and made the earlier movies feel weaker. The problem is that
No, it's right there.
Paradox wasn't originally a Cloverfield movie at all. Reports say that it was a generic sci-fi script that got the franchise name slapped onto it during production. The monster connection was added after the fact, which is very obvious because it feels directly tacked on. Because it was. The film ends with a giant creature appearing above the clouds, and instead of scary, it just feels random. Like there's an entire plot line in this movie that is so random of them back on Earth with the monster. It doesn't make any sense, like at all. It's not good. And I remember being such a fan of the Cloverfield series back when I was in high school and early college. And this came out, and I was just sad. Because the first two movies were great, and then they just fumbled the bag, and now we don't have any more. I'm pretty sure, like, Overlord, which is, like, about the military and, like, the World War II or whatever, was supposed to be a Cloverfield franchise, too. But it also feels just tacked on. Anyways, I don't even know if that's true anymore. I think I saw a rumor at one point. Editor, can you double check that for me? Anyways, critics gave it a 90% of Rotten Tomatoes, and it made the press. The marketing strategy got more praise than the film itself. Monument Mythos built a coherent alternate universe across dozens of videos, each one adding depth. Cloverfield Paradox tried to explain an entire franchise in 90 minutes and broke it. One was made by someone with something to say. The other was made by a studio with something to sell.
This isn't good.
Keeps moving. When creators have freedom,
No, let me move.
they make things that resonate.
I don't like that. There's a blood fiend right here.
Franchises and profits over stories, the stories suffer. You know, hot take, but if you just focus on making a good story, you'll make more money. I know that's crazy to think about, but like literally, I feel like most people are not upset with movies making billions of dollars if the movie's good. Like, I'm not. If it's good, make $1 bajillion. I don't care. But when they're shit,
Alright, that's
hype
good.
them up to be better than they are, that's when I start getting upset. But we haven't even reached the most expensive failure yet. The one that proves beyond any doubt that budget and star power mean absolutely nothing without the right foundation. $125 million. That's what Universal spent on The Mummy in 2017. Not to just make a movie, but to launch the entire franchise. They called it the Dark Universe. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, the Wolfman. All the classic monsters, all connected, all building towards something bigger. Marvel had done it with the superheroes, so Universal was gonna do it with the monsters. It was the Horror Avengers. They announced this whole lineup before the first movie even came out, with posters, press events, a cast photo with Russell Crowe, Javier Bardem, and Johnny Depp stand together like they were the Avengers of horror. The confidence and the ego was unreal. And then The Mummy released, and the entire plan shit the bed. The movie stars Tom Cruise,
Not cool, man.
Fortune, who accidentally awakens an ancient Egyptian princess. She's evil, she has powers, and she wants to bring a god into our world. It's standard monster movie stuff.
Bro.
Universal didn't make a monster movie. They
How?
made a Tom Cruise action vehicle that happens to have a mummy in the plot. This thing literally nailed neither on the horror or the adventure. It was trying to be everything and ended up being nothing. One review called it a typical Tom Cruise blockbuster with mythology and light horror shoehorned in as afterthoughts, which is exactly what it felt like. There is a whole scene where Russell Crowe explains that he runs a secret organization hunting monsters, complete with specimen jars and references to future villains. It's not world building. It is literally a commercial for movies that will never get made because this was so shit. It earned a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Dark Universe was quietly shelved. $125 million, and they couldn't get one movie right because they were too busy setting up the next 5. Meanwhile, look at Monument Mythos. It exists. It was made for essentially nothing. There was no studio approval process, no team executives worried about the brand alignment. Just one person with a weird idea about American monuments being a cosmic horror. I would argue it's way better than The Mummy. So do you think that Hollywood is better than analog horror on YouTube?
I swear.
Well, I don't. Not
I just get random itches on my butt. It feels like ticks biting me, but it's not. Just
it never was. Look, if you want more breakdowns on horror movies just like this, like the video and subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which analog horror series has gotten under your skin the most, and maybe I'll talk about it in an upcoming video. At the end of the day, there is only one studio that has truly figured out horror. And that is an independent person who makes stuff for fun on YouTube. Just to be cool, just to be scary, just to have fun. Those are the people that truly understand what makes horror tick. Anyways, if you want to watch another video of mine, click the one that's on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.
I don't know, do I want to watch another video of yours? Yeah, because no one's shown up. At least I think no one's shown up. Yeah, not a single person. Alright, who should we put on this time? Dark Souls 3 Platinum, why not?
Back to the very... Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to finally wrap up the Dark Souls trilogy, because today I platinumed the long-awaited Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is a fan favorite, and for good reason. It has pretty much everything a good sequel should. Iconic locations, fun weapons, great NPCs, awesome callbacks, and quite possibly the most stacked roster of bosses out of any FromSoft game. At the end of each Soulsborne video, I do rank all the games from worst to best, and spoiler alert, this one's up there. I hope I can do this incredible game justice in the limited time I have here today. Dark Souls 3 has 43 trophies, a difficulty of 6 out of 10, and an estimated completion time of a whopping
I just got nuked.
10 hours. Good God, that is the most we've seen so far. Hopefully the majority of it doesn't consist of collectibles and farming random items. That would be so crazy, right? But without further ado, let's get to the game. Like every other Souls game, we start with a character creator, and the trend of me making wacky characters is back because joining me for my Dark Souls 3 playthrough is the Joker. Oh, sorry, the Jonkler. And we're going to be running the Knight as our starter class because I just can't resist a good strength build with some badass looking armor. I've literally done this in pretty much every other playthrough. Alright, here we are. We spawn in the Cemetery of Ash, which just has so many nice civilians to talk to. They're great, definitely. I should also mention here that Dark Souls 3 is very similar to Elden Ring in terms of combat systems. It took all the way to Dark
Yo, I need to stop grabbing every item I see on the ground. It's getting me
As
killed.
someone whose first game was Elden Ring, that is very weird. I genuinely did not know that it took that long until what I thought was basic mechanics to get added to the games. But it's good to see them. They were sorely missed. Then I found my first bonfire and got a trophy. It's the quintessential freebie. And not even 5 minutes into the game, I encountered the first boss. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 doesn't beat around the bush. It's aware you probably play the other games before, so it just throws you right in. And Udex Gundyr is a perfect first boss. Not difficult, but it gets you warmed up. He also has a second stage where he apparently gets the venom symbiote. Where the fuck did that come from? But I just
I like my Night Crown.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
cool.
I'm the GOAT, and I got a trophy. And I also got another trophy at the same time for embering up for the first time. This just happens whenever you kill a boss or use the ember item. Then I made it to this game's Firelink Shrine, and it might be my favorite hub area in the whole series, including Majula. Please don't kill me. It's an awesome hub area, complete with my boy Andre the Blacksmith from Dark Souls 1. Good to have you back, buddy. The only downside of this area is that it literally is not connected to any other area.
I'm gonna do some stuff in OBS real quick.
To the first main level from the bonfire. World connectivity is a lost art, unfortunately. Dark Souls 1 is rolling in its grave right now. But on the bright side, the first area of this game is really cool. The High Wall of Lothric has some great visuals and scenery, and I even got the Symbol of Avarice from killing my very first.
I need to set it to like 40 or like
the best piece of equipment for farming. Along
50.
my journey through this area, I found Emma, the High Priestess of Lothric Castle, and she lets me join the first covenant of the game, netting me a trophy. And right after her is this area's main boss, Vort of the Boreal Valley. He kind of looks like one of those roided up horses. And his fight is
I think there's 26.
to be honest. Just stay close and play aggressive. But somehow this seemingly normal, unremarkable boss got literally the most iconic song to ever come out of a FromSoft game.
Right here.
It's the meme song. How the hell did this guy get the meme song? I was genuinely
Didn't
baffled
mean
when I heard this
to do
song.
that.
I didn't know where it was from. But with Vort defeated and me now being one trophy richer, it's time for me to move on to the next area. And I get there via these harpy-looking fuckers a la on Orlando. This next location is the Undead Settlement, a much blander and uglier area. But fortunately,
Alright, good to know that this is working good and well.
There's a shining beacon of light amidst
Let's
this
see.
dull, depressing town, and his name is Sigurd of Katarina, the GOAT NPC. He's
Tired.
my guy. We kill this demon together, and
Legendary item alert.
What a badass. Enough said. I also
Rolanus
ended up
Twin Moons.
voluntarily getting myself kidnapped.
Too
so
bad
I
I'm
could be
not
taken to a
using
highly
intelligence.
visible covenant known as the Mound Makers. And
My
whenever
son,
I hear
you
the
gotta
name
be kidding me.
Mound Makers, I just immediately think of shit. Like
Yo, I have
wild,
to.
awful
Dude,
I'm sorry, I just think it's very funny.
this is the run back I have to do to get to this boss every time from now on. I have to run past the lightning little thing. Please tell me I have a shield that's fully resistant to lightning, bro.
Avoiding that trophy completely if you haven't already gotten it. But the boss is very easy, and that's another trophy.
See what boss took over Red Wolf?
Worst areas in the entire game, Fahrenheit.
No,
I found a couple
Fire
of
Giant.
that will be really important later, but for
This
now,
might not
it's
be
so
good.
important. Here I also found my Crystal Sage, aka Nobody.
Okay, so that didn't work.
It's a basic
That didn't work at all. This is a bad arena for this.
Find the real one. They had the same exact boss way back in Demon Souls. This is nothing new. I killed it and got a trophy, and this unlocked the path to a side area called the Cathedral of the Deep. And no cathedral is complete without its beacons. Enter the worst boss in the game. This is literally a Dark Souls 2 boss. I have next to nothing to say about this. It's just absolute slop. I thought we were done with these types of bosses from FromSoft. What the
Alright,
fuck? Well,
never mind, it's all good.
For killing them, even though these clowns are definitely not worthy of being trophy bosses. Whatever, back to Farron Keep after advancing.
Okay, now I'm not gonna lose a flask every time I try to. Ooh, me want shiny thing. I've never actually opened this chest because the items are really annoying, or it's really annoying to run by. No, no, I died to a fart cloud.
And also the first truly great boss of the game, because it's time for the motherfucking Abyss Watchers, y'all. These guys were once working for Artorias, but much like their master, they've been consumed by the Abyss, and this causes them to just kill each other over and over again. They're trying to eliminate the Abyss, but they also are the Abyss, so they're in a bit of a pickle. But of course, being consumed by the Abyss doesn't stop you from aura farming. The fight itself is great. It starts off as a basic one-on-one, but then midway through, another Abyss Watcher rises from the dead and ambushes me. But then after that, another Abyss
Surely I'll get it this time, right?
and this one is friendly, so now the fight is equalized. After getting through the first phase, the main Abyss Watcher
My eyebrow itches kind of bad.
and returns once more. This time with his sword infused with fire, and this is where the fight actually gets kind of hard. The Abyss Watcher
I hate how that's a feature, bro.
fiery after effect that
Yo.
punishes you for dodging the initial swing of it. And this fight is just so fucking cool, man. I'll never be able to use Abyss Watchers. It took a little bit for me to get used to his attack patterns, but eventually I took the final Abyss Watcher out of his misery and got him through. Before moving on from there,
I know his weak spot's on the hand, but I can't get to that right now.
and unlike Sif from Dark Souls 1, I don't have to kill this fella. Instead, he just gives me another cover.
Oh my goodness,
What a
bro.
good boy. The next area is the Catacombs of Carthus, and this is another
Boom.
one of the worst areas in the game. Damn, we're really putting all the garbage areas back to back. Hey, I'm down for it. Let's get them all out of the way. Like the Catacombs of Dark Souls 1,
Wow.
it's a maze trying to figure out where the hell to go in this area. Although I will say
Good
it's
thing
not
fire
really
giant attacks aren't the hardest in the game to
this area is also
dodge.
just really dull and boring. This looks terrible. The boss of the Catacombs is High Lord Volnir,
Oh, I didn't. Okay. So I think I'll just camp near the legs, even though like they're not the weak spots. It's gonna be like the best idea. Boom. I just realized if he does his breath attack, I'm probably screwed. Boom. Boom. Okay, I don't know what attack he's doing. He's doing that one, so I'm just gonna run away. Oh, okay. I couldn't see past the flamethrower. That's not good.
Lake, and I'm pretty sure this is the remains of Ash Lake from Dark Souls 1. I mean, come on, they're both hidden deep underground. They both have these giant tree pillars, and well, they're both lakes. However, it also has remnants of Lost Izalith from Dark Souls 1, which was where the Bed of Chaos and all the other demons were located. So maybe since Ash Lake and Lost Izalith were both deep underground, pretty close to each other in Dark Souls 1, by the time Dark Souls 3 came around, they just blended together into one big area. I don't really know, but it's pretty damn cool. Speaking of the demons, here's their king, and he is not very difficult. The purpose of this boss is to show just how weak the demons have become over time. They had a whole kingdom in Dark Souls 1, and now it's just this guy. The fall-off needs to be studied. I, of course, get a trophy for beating this guy, and now we can finally get back above ground out of these stupid caves. I've had enough of this area. After the Catacombs, I entered
Good
the
lord, bro,
greatest
everything's
area in
itching.
this entire game, and one of the greatest areas in any Souls game. Beautiful of the Boreal Valley. Holy shit, this area is absolutely beautiful. And in this place is my personal favorite boss in the entire game, Pontiff Solomon. He wields elemental swords and he just looks really fucking sick. He's a lot like Rolana from the Elden Ring DLC. This cathedral is also a really sick arena to house a boss. Pontiff is definitely one of the more difficult bosses, but his first stage is really nothing that crazy. That all changes during the second stage where he spawns in a clone of himself.
Hey, what attack are you doing, big dog? Oh, you're doing that thing. Okay, I see what you're doing now. I don't really like that, so I'm gonna spin to win.
I think this is a really cool gimmick. I like that it's kind of a duo fight.
Okay,
but
you
never
just
hits
kills
you
him.
with the stupid bullshit that comes with most other duo fights. It's still very manageable. You can kill the clone
Dodge.
as well, which I did. But to be honest, I don't know if it's easier to kill the clone or just ignore it and overpower Pontiff. I think killing him is better. So far, this is the hardest boss in the game, but I still wasn't on for that long, only like 10-15 minutes. I think most Souls bosses are easy to me at this point. I've just played so many of these games. So when I killed him, I got a trophy. Beat boss, 10 out of 10, literally 0 complaints. The area after Pontiff is the designated PvP spot in Dark Souls 3. So while going through, I got amazed when something
Oh, I didn't think I'd dodge that. I've never dodged that before.
Oh my God, he's literally me. I simply can't fight one of my fellow jockeyers. He will be remembered forever. Anyways, I also found a secret covenant in this area, so that's another trophy down. Now on to my way to the next boss, I began to realize
This is not good. I don't think I'm gonna be able to survive this, bro.
bows and arrows shooting me from the rooftops, the architecture of
I survived it.
the giant revolving elevator. Yo, I think we're in honor longer. Holy shit, we're in honor fucking
You can survive it, but just barely.
I somehow feel nostalgia for a game I played like 4 months ago. It's funny how stuff like this will do that to you. In reality, though, there were 5 whole years in between Dark Souls 1 and 3, so I can only imagine the nostalgia that the day ones had during this segment. It even has Gwendolyn's secret chamber where you originally fought him. And this area actually comes into play much later in this video. Upon entering the area that previously belonged to Ornstein and Snow, I find Gwendolyn? Is that you, buddy? Nah, that's just Aldrich, the devourer of gods. He's that black sludge below Gwendolyn, and he's actually in the middle of eating the poor fella. So Gwendolyn is being puppeteered to fight me while slowly being eaten alive. I know he was kind of annoying in Dark Souls 1, but holy shit, he did not deserve all that. The actual boss fight is good as fuck. A lot of spells, range attacks.
I could have swore a fire giant could be bled. Not again, bro. The undodgeable attack, bro. Oh my goodness. This one's gonna take forever. I'm gonna come back to this later.
But to prepare for it, I completed Sigurd's questline because he'll join you for the battle, and it just makes everything so much more cinematic. The boss is Yorm the Giant, and this is a gimmick fight. There's the classic wind sword in the boss's arena, and it's the only thing that can do good damage. Yorm doesn't really do anything special. Sigurd and I made very quick work of this big boy. Killed him, got a trophy, celebrated one last time together, and then I never saw Sigurd again. Truly the greatest of all time. He retired in his prime. After defeating Yorm, I got teleported back to where I originally found Emma. Yeah, remember her, the girl that gave me the first covenant? Yeah, probably not, but don't worry, I also forgot who she was for a second. But now she's just dead. I don't really know what happened, but here she is. Her death triggers the next boss fight, the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Coming from above like a full-on xenomorph, this thing is creepy looking. Another dual elemental sword fight, I like it. You can actually trigger this fight much earlier
Didn't even
in the
know I
game.
was,
As soon as you meet Emma, you can just kill her yourself, and this fight will start on its own.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that because that is a terrible idea. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna beat this fight without any issues. But then second stage, the bitch turned into a Beyblade and started to gain the advantage over me. Luckily, I still had most of my healing flasks, or else I would have been cooked way long ago. This boss hits hard, man. But I beat it first try and got a trophy. Now with the Dancer out of the way, Walther Castle itself is now fully accessible for me to explore. Before going the main route that takes you
Wanna move
up
my
the
blanket
castle,
around a
and
little bit.
side route that takes you down into the corrupted gardens with a bunch of these symbiote enemies. At the end of the garden is Osiris the Consumed King. Basically, this dude's backstory is that he was a huge fanboy of Seath the Scaleless from Dark Souls 1 for some reason. I don't know, that fight was kind of ass to me. And he wanted to beat him so bad that he experimented on himself until he turned into a dragon hybrid. He also has a son called Ocelot, and his pose in the boss fight makes it look like he's holding a child. He also talks to Ocelot in the boss fight, but unless that baby is John Cena, I don't think anything's there. This guy might just be insane. And like 75% of all Soulsborne bosses are clinically insane, so I don't think that's a bad assumption to make about this guy. Sorry, man. I don't know. I really liked How to Train Your Dragon as a kid, and you don't see me trying to turn myself into fucking toothless. Gameplay-wise, though, this boss is pretty cool. He's very passive at first and uses only his staff to attack, but about halfway through, he just stops giving a fuck and gives into his dragon instincts. And I found this phase to be pretty hit or miss. Sometimes he just combos the hell out of you and just destroys you, and you can't even do anything.
I'm happy this playthrough I got both halves of the Dex medallion because I don't want to go through the Ruin Precipice or whatever it's called.
I still really enjoy this fight, though. It's a really cool concept. I'd also say this is
My
one of the
controller
harder
turned
fights
off?
in the game just because of his ridiculous potential. Like, you
Awesome.
can just get absolutely deleted instantly by this guy pretty much.
Smithing
But I killed him on, like, my third
stones.
try, I think. I got a trophy for it. Going past Osiris, I get dropped into this area that's literally pitch black. And discovering this area actually nets me a trophy, so that's pretty nice. And this is actually a direct copy of the graveyard from the very start of the game. I believe this is actually some sort of like pocket dimension that encapsulates a version of the graveyard from the distant past. And I say this because when you reach the end of the area, you're rewarded with a rematch with Gundyr, the very first boss of this game. But this time he's not infected with the symbiote thing, so it's gotta be from the past, right? It's obviously much harder than the first Gundyr fight just because we're in the late game now. He's got a bunch of brand new attacks and combos. And I've said this in other
Let's run
videos,
through
but
the
some of my favorite fights in these games are just the ones where it's you versus another dude and you're just duking it out. And I'm happy to report that this fight does not disappoint at all. This time around, although he doesn't have the symbiote, he's much more aggressive and unpredictable, especially in phase 2. He hits like a truck and in my opinion is one of the scariest bosses in the game. He has a lot of very confusing combos. This fight is awesome, one of the best in the game, game and the entire trilogy. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but there it is. I get a trophy for killing him, and after the boss is the Firelink Shrine, but nobody is there, which further reinforces the idea that this is set in the past. I don't really know how that's possible, or how this place even exists, but I'm not going to really question it. Now back to Lothric Castle, we're following the main path now. Not too far into the castle, I found another similar boss to Gundyr, that being the Dragon Slayer armor, and for a second I got really excited because I thought this was Ornstein, but it's not. It's just a possessed set of the same type of armor that Ornstein once wore. But this is another great duel, and the fact that the fight takes place on top of a narrow rampart that oversees all of Lothric is just too cool. Kind of reminds me of Margit from Elden Ring. The coolest thing about this fight though is the weapon that the boss uses. It's a lightning great axe, and spoiler alert, I'm gonna start using the weapon after I kill the boss. It's just
Dragon
cool
Skin
weapon
Soldier
to knock
and
out.
Nile.
But this boss is a lot slower than Gundyr.
Like, is that the actual Nile? Good to know he's there instead of later on. Oh no, that's O'Neal. That's not Nile.
Hitting bosses in the entire game. I love this fight. No complaints or criticism from me. I got a trophy for it.
So I'd rather not do that.
Possibly the most badass area in the entire game, Archdragon Peak. The name is pretty fitting because this area delivers nothing but peak. This area is so sick that I get a trophy just upon entering.
O'Neal
And
Sentinel.
justifiably so, because when this game first came out, people didn't even know how to reach it for a while. You have to use a very specific emote and a
I can be
very specific
O'Neal
corner
if it's a
to get to the
one-on-one.
dungeon, and then a cutscene will play that transports you to the area. So yeah, it makes perfect
I don't want to have to
sense
fight
why
both
people
of those. I
love
just want to
this
fight
area for a
one.
bit. Also, it just looks kind of cursed to have a Dark Souls area with a normal
Okay, so I
clear
can't
blue
beat them.
sky. This area looks way too nice to be a part of Dark Souls because usually we're in the middle of an apocalypse in these games. After traversing for a bit, I found that
I wish I could move my chair, bro.
This is a complete gimmick fight. You can't really damage him normally, so what you gotta do is climb up the ramparts of the fort and then plunge attack his head to insta-kill him. It's a really easy fight that's not really technically advanced in any way, shape, or form, but I still really enjoyed this. It's such an awesome spin on the normal dragon enemy formula. Dropping onto the dragon's head for the killing blow will never not be awesome. But if you know this game, you know that nobody talks about Archdragon Peak because of the fucking ancient wyvern. No. People talk about Archdragon Peak because it is home to one of the most iconic bosses in all of Soulsborne. That's right, people. I'm talking about the good old Nameless King, previously seen in my Elden Ring Night Rain video. You should go check that out. And yeah, he deserves all the reputation he gets. The boss fight is near perfect, except for the fact that the camera is absolute dog shit in phase 1. But the first phase isn't very difficult anyway, so it kind of balances it out. He also has one of the coolest looking dragons in any of the games. There's not really one that looks like this. Kind of looks like a big old bird. Well, all you gotta do this phase is just smack the dragon in the head.
That's pretty good.
An opening, and then you're on to the hard part. Because Nameless King mercy kills his dragon and seemingly absorbs all of its power, and now it's time for another duel. I should also mention that this dude is the firstborn son of Gwyn from Dark Souls 1.
What are you gonna
There
switch
even
to?
statues of him around the areas in the previous
Let's see what you
games,
switched
but
to.
they got destroyed,
What are
which is
you?
very interesting. So this dude was really just
Who
in
even
front of
are
our
you?
faces
I've never
the
seen
whole
this enemy
time and
before.
Nobody realized it. Maybe it would have been easier if he had a name, but you know, he's the Nameless King. I actually beat this boss first try during the first playthrough, but I think I was over leveled because I was around level 95 during this fight. But this boss was definitely way more difficult during New Game Plus. I got my ass handed to me during my subsequent playthroughs of this game. His combos have a lot of weird timings, and some of them have a lightning aftershock, so that's pretty fun to deal with. Not really. And he hits like an absolute truck too. So yeah, definitely one of the hardest bosses in the game, unless you're over leveled and using one of the best weapons in the game like me. Then you'll be just fine. But yeah, another great boss. At this point in the game, it's just banger after banger after banger. It's so impressive to me that they managed to cram this many top tier bosses into a game of this size. Like, I'd say Elden Ring probably has more better bosses, but that game also has an entire open world and an entire open world DLC. So to have this many good bosses in this small of a game compared to something like Elden Ring is certainly very impressive. But of course, you already knew that I would get a trophy for killing this boss. I mean, come on, how could you not give me a trophy for it? Back again at Lothric Castle after going through the Grand
Random item?
Archives,
Maybe
which
it's a
I thought was
remembrance?
Pretty annoying area. I find the
Or Morgoth's
final
Cursed
Lord of
Sword.
Cinder,
No, it's fine.
Lorien. And this fight is also really good. The main gimmick with this one is the fact that Lorien teleports all over the damn place. And while this may seem extremely annoying, because believe me, I thought this fight was going to to be ass at first. It's actually not. To counteract
boss,
teleporting,
say
he
be a
doesn't have
mariner.
that much health, and the punish windows are still generous enough to do good damage. That, and I'm also
Where'd it go?
using, again,
It's
one
right
of the
here.
best weapons in the game. I'm sure that has an effect on the fight, and I made quick work of it. Obviously, the
Okay,
last
that did
Lord of
most of my
Sin
health.
wouldn't be that easy, though. So phase 2 starts, and this time he's joined by his younger brother,
Okay.
Prince
Oh.
Lothric himself, like the dude that
Boom,
the whole map
boom,
is named
boom,
after.
boom,
Kind of
boom,
weird
boom,
that he's hugging
boom.
his brother like that, though. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like what's going on there. I guess this is technically a duo fight, even though they're kind of still one entity, because Lothric is constantly hugging Lorien like a little bitch. To win in this phase, Lorien has to be killed first, which
Heavy.
leaves Lothric by himself.
Okay.
Lothric
Ooh,
will
that
then
almost
start
killed
to
me.
revive Lorien, and it locks him into an animation where you can just punish the hell out of him. The alternative
Alright.
is that you can sometimes hit Lothric while Lorien is still alive, but I didn't find this to be very consistent, so I just focused Lorien. The fight ends once Lothric dies for the first time, and like every other boss, I get a trophy.
It's gonna
for
let me
beating him.
through,
Then I
even though
quickly
I've
went
only
back
killed
to
one
Irithyll,
remembrance
got the
boss.
last covenant of the game.
I'm gonna
This
make
one is
it
very
where I have to
separate,
kill
involves walking
either
over
the
different
boss
bridges
in
to get
Renala's
to it.
arena
No wonder why I didn't find this originally.
or the
And at
boss
this point, I'm
in
done with everything in the
Radahn's
base game
arena.
except for the final boss, which I always
So then
save
I would
for
acquire a
last.
total
Like
of 2
all
great
other
rooms.
videos, even though the DLC gives me no trophies, I'm still gonna play through it because some of the best bosses are locked behind it. The first DLC, Ashes of Ariandel, isn't really my favorite. I think the area itself is kind of boring. But holy shit, the boss at the end of it is absolute peak. And get used to me saying that because they went all out with the DLC bosses this time around. Sister Fried is an insane boss. The first phase is quite similar to Priscilla from Dark Souls 1 in the sense that she turns invisible a bunch and that you have to listen for when she's about to attack. Overall, first phase isn't very difficult. It's really just the invisibility gimmick that you have to learn. Phase 2 is where things start to get a little bonkers because this dude, Father Ariandel,
I thought
decides to
someone
tag
typed in chat. I was
himself
about to
in,
get
and now you
happy.
gotta deal with fire and ice. I found that the best strategy is to completely ignore Sister Fried and only target Ariandel. He's much easier to hit and they have a shared health bar anyway, so might as well just go for him. Also, you gotta teach him a lesson for just barging into a fair one-on-one fight. That's kind of a dick move. And this is another duo fight done really well. Dark Souls 3 kind of nailed it when it comes to that. But this is where things get real spicy, because when you beat the second stage, it makes it seem like everything is fine and dandy, until Sister Fried gets up like Michael fucking Myers with a third stage where her scythe gets black flame and she can now do a bunch of completely ridiculous attacks. As you may be able to tell, this fight takes a really long time to get through. It's basically 3 different boss fights, and it's 3 full health bars that you gotta worry about. And the third stage
Last
is by
time I
far
did
the
this, it
hardest, so
was
be
the
prepared to
regular
start all
Ancestor
the way from the
Spirit
beginning. But after about
for
25
Radahn, so
minutes, I killed Sister Fried and beat the first DLC.
about to
Yeah,
go
there's
see
only one
what
mandatory
was
boss
here.
in the DLC, which kind of sucks, but there is an optional boss. It's just this random guy and then a giant wolf. Yeah, this fight is pretty ass compared to Sister Fried. It's really not memorable. And this wolf will never be as cool as Sif. Get this shit out of my face. Alright, now the first DLC is actually done. The second DLC is definitely better because it has more bosses and they are all really good, except for one, which we'll get to in a minute. However, this first area was genuinely miserable for me.
Let's
These
see.
stupid fucking butterfly angel things can suck a 23-inch horse cock. This is the closest to
I
rage
guess.
quitting that I got out of any Souls game, and I genuinely mean that. This is one of my least favorite
Let's
areas
see, what
ever,
is it?
but luckily at the end
Loretta.
of the
Which
area
Loretta is
another
it?
really
It's
awesome
Gus
duo
Loretta.
fight.
Alright, this better be
time I'm up
easy.
against the demon duo. I'm pretty sure these are actually the last 2
Not gonna
living demons
get-
in the world. I don't know how
Not
they
gonna
got
get,
here, but here they
too
are. I actually
cocky.
think this fight is slightly better than Ornstein and Smo, so that's how you know it's a good duo fight. The only real annoying thing during this phase is that one of the demons can poison you for some reason, which I think is kind of stupid, but it is avoidable and not the end of the world even if you do get
Oh my god, never mind, you do a lot more damage.
Once you beat
And
the
you just
demon,
spam
the birds will
spells,
become
I
the
mean.
demon prince, and this dude is ridiculously powerful. He's got a good amount of HP,
Okay.
good damage output.
Let me
and
actually
goddamn
set up
laser
to
beam.
play this, because
Much
this one's
love
not like
to
the
him
Fire
for
Giant. I can actually kill this, bro.
He's also got to be the coolest looking demon out of all of them. Definitely a really good fight overall. I was on this for about 30 minutes. Really, really good stuff though. Also, I saw this online, but this area is literally Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 1. Look at this building. You can't tell me this is not 100% intentional. That is so fucking cool. We're finally back, boys. After the fight, I get teleported to the Ring City, the second half of this DLC, and this is one of the most beautiful areas I've ever seen. Unfortunately, though, the welcoming party isn't very nice. After traveling for a
Let me
while,
turn
I find a dragon who
up my
seriously
air
wants me
conditioner a
dead.
little bit.
What a douchebag. And then after a little while longer, I find him again and knock him down into a ravine. Guess that's the last we'll see of him, right? Moving on, I fought Half-Life light spear the church, and this fight is absolute garbage. He's just a forgettable NPC boss that no one cares about. What a fucking snooze fest. Moving on to an optional area where I drop into a giant ravine. You know, I think I might have made a mistake. Yep, this is Dark Eater Vadir, the dragon from earlier, and he's pretty pissed off now. You've probably heard this already, but this is one of the best dragon fights of all time. Many will put it at number 1, but I still like Veil the Dread from Elden Ring a little bit more. But still, this is absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
You know how in most dragon fights you just hit him in the foot until they drop dead? Yeah, well, you can't do that in this fight or else you'll be severely punished. You just gotta stand in front of this man, square up, and fight.
Panic
Always
rolling.
aim for the head, it's double damage. But this was by far the hardest fight in the game for me, and it isn't even remotely close.
No, this is
spent
where
about
Giant
an
Crusher
hour
would
and
come in
10 minutes
handy.
trying to kill this big fella. And even when I pretty much learned the entire moveset, all it took was one
Lord of
minor
Slash
misplay to send me
hurts.
back for the very start, because this is the heaviest hitter in the game by far. He also has laser beams, by the way. Yeah, don't get hit by those. Why does everyone have laser beams now? What's going on? Basically, if you download his entire moveset, don't ever get hit, and then beat him up, you're gonna win. Easy, right? Yeah, not quite. Although I was struggling to kill this boss, I still found it highly enjoyable,
That
and I
hurted.
would gladly go back to fight Madir again. 10 out of 10, W Dragon. And also a really cool arena too. No wonder why they reused it for Shadow of the Erdtree. But moving on to the fan favorite boss in the entire trilogy. This is the final boss of the DLC and probably the best technical boss in the game. And of course it's
All
Slave
these do
Nightingale.
less physical
If you
damage.
watch
I mean, I
someone
understand
rank
why,
every
but
Souls boss, chances are this guy is in the top 3, and he usually ain't number 3 or 2. He's just an exceptionally well-made boss. Just the concept alone is amazing. It's just the two strongest beings in the universe duking it out at the very end of time. And if that doesn't sound cool to you, then you might be a member of the Fun Police, and we don't accept you around these parts. Get the fuck out. The fight itself is also really difficult. I still haven't fully gotten the
Let's
hang of the
do
second
this.
phase. I was on it for about 30 minutes, and the run where I beat him, I used up all my flasks, so it definitely wasn't a clean run, and I could have lost at any moment. I completely understand why people put him at number 1. He's an absolute badass. The fight itself is pretty much perfect, and it's literally the final Dark Souls boss that they've ever made. We'll see if Dark Souls 4 ever comes out. I highly doubt it. So that's the end of the DLC. Let's kill the final boss of the base game now. And it's the good old Soul of Cinder. The lore of this boss is some of the coolest lore I've ever seen. Basically, the Soul of Cinder is every single person in history that linked the fire. So that includes Gwyn, the final boss of Dark Souls 1, the 4 Lords of Cinder from this game, my Dark Souls 1 character, your Dark Souls 1 character, and also our Dark Souls 2 characters. It's everybody versus me. This is their last stand to stop us from putting an end to the Age of Fire, and it is absolutely amazing. The OST
I can probably
is
get
top
one-shotted
tier.
at any
The boss
time.
whips out ninja flips from Dark Souls 1 because that is a very popular ring to use in that game. So naturally,
Okay,
with
so
all
the
Souls
spinning
and
chain
Dark
doesn't
Souls 1
work.
Players, he would know how to do that. He also uses a bunch of other cool techniques used by us
That's
throughout
dead.
the years. It really is the perfect finale to an amazing trilogy. And then we come full circle when Phase 2 hits, because the soul of Gwyn, the very first Lord of Cinder, takes the reins completely, and it basically turns into a rematch from Dark Souls 1. Band for band, bar for bar. Even the music kicks in. The plin plin plons are in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. This might be the best final boss out of any Souls game. Keep in mind, I'm
I
saying
agree
this
with
without
him.
playing Sekiro yet, so I'll have to see if the final boss in that game is better than the Soul of Cinder, but for now,
Yeah, I
Soul
wanna
of Cinder
use
is the best
that.
final boss FromSoft has ever made in my humble
How much strength do I
opinion.
have?
Absolutely
20
perfect fight, in my opinion.
7?
With the final boss dead, I get the first
No,
ending of
I have
the
11.
game. For this ending, I chose to end the Age of Fire once and for all, and bring on the Age of Dark, which sounds pretty fucking sinister, but it's really not. It's just the next natural step in the order of the world. And it was supposed to happen much sooner, but the Lords of Cinder kept lighting the damn fire, so that's how we got to this point. So I swear I'm not the bad guy here. They are, and they're also fucking dead. So joke's on them, I guess. Also, I'm pretty sure this is the canon ending of the game. It feels the most conclusive. And there we go. We get the final trophy for the platinum. Oh wait, no we didn't. I still have to play the game 2 more times. Fuck. And do covenant grinding for ridiculously low drop rate items. I love platinum in games. It's my favorite.
No.
Some random
Oh, I didn't get hit.
trophies and get the weapon to max level. And I actually did this in my last playthrough, but I forgot to mention it. So here it is. I also put every type of infusion on my weapons for another trophy. And then I got the max amount of Estus and then fully upgraded its
Boom.
power. So that gives me 2 more trophies.
Let's go blow
Now
for
we can
blow.
get to the next step of the platinum.
Usually
Collecting
not what they
all the
say. play, but
miracles, sorceries,
who
and
cares?
pyromancy.
Bang.
Here comes the Covenant
Ma'am.
farming.
Bang.
I thought it was a good idea to gatekeep a bunch of spells behind Covenants, which there are quite a lot of in this game, and you have to offer a certain amount of an item to a Covenant to then get the spells from that Covenant. And from here you have two choices: play multiplayer or farm enemies for hours to get the items at like a 1% drop rate, but you don't really have to think about it at all. There's no brain power. And unfortunately, for the most part, I had to do the latter because the servers are quite dead except for weekends. On weekends, I played multiplayer because as bad as I am at PvP, and believe me, I'm actually like really bad, like terrible.
Yo.
I don't understand Dark Souls PvP for the life of me. It's
I'm
still
horrid,
infinitely more
bro.
fun than killing the same two enemies over and over and over again. For some of the items, though, I was lucky enough to have a friend farm invasions with me, so I had a much easier time getting like half of these. So whoever you are out there, you're probably watching this right now. Thank you. For a couple of the items, though, I did just opt to farm them offline because the servers were just not working for me at the time. So time to slave away for a bunch of hours to get one spell that I'm never going to use in game. I think this game genuinely made me hate Covenants. I never loved the system, probably because I never played these.
Screw it, we ball. I'm assuming, I don't know why I said that like that, as I would say, fuck it, we ball, but, you know, who cares? What time is it? 3:40. I'm just summoning at this point, I just want to get this over with. Who cares about getting better for real? I have 1,000 hours in the game. I don't really care that much.
So long to come out is because I got burnt out midway through doing this and took like a week-long break from playing this game because the system is just absolute garbage. But after a while, I got all the miracles,
Bang, I missed.
pyromancies. Thank God it's over. I could stay on this segment for like an hour talking about everything I had to grind.
I'm so
for,
bones,
let's
bro.
be honest, I don't want to hear me talk about all that boring ass shit. And for my sanity, I think I'm just gonna move on now because the next trophies are not nearly as bad. During my New Game Plus playthrough, I opted to go for the highly missable Usurpation of Fire ending. It's not really that hard to get as long as you watch a video because there's a lot of very weird things you have to do at specific times in the playthrough. But basically, long story short, this ending involves you becoming the Lord of the Undead. And the best thing about this ending is that your
No,
character
I want to go
gets
through.
bitches. Like this cutscene is literally a wedding ceremony. Even though I'm literally stabbing my wife to death here, just ignore that part. She'll be back at the end, trust. And then after killing the Soul of Cinder once more, here we go. Look how badass this shit is. It's basically the Dark Lord ending from Dark Souls 1. There's pretty much no difference, actually. That was my favorite ending in that game, and it's probably still my favorite ending in this game. Alright, time for New Game Plus 2. The main thing I have
Let's
to
go
do
this
is
way,
collect
woman.
all the rings because there's New Game Plus and New Game Plus 2 exclusive rings. There are also a bunch of covenants.
I forgot that you have that charge attack.
One of my least favorite parts of Dark Souls 2, and of course they brought it back. I also collected all the gestures in this run. I think I could have done it a lot sooner, but I low-key forgot.
No, stop it. I didn't even know that the NPCs in this fight could be staggerable.
I got the stupid ring trophy. Thank God the whole entire time I was
Shablam. Bang. Jump it, jump her.
Which is the basic bitch default ending that you don't have to do anything special to get. And this is probably the worst ending in the game because you link the fire again, and at this point the poor flame has been linked so many times that it barely even gets lit up when you do it. It's just really depressing and makes your whole playthrough feel fucking useless. The fire just can't get it up anymore. It sounds like it needs Blue Chew, the sponsor of today's video. I'm just kidding, there's no sponsor. I'm poor. Maybe poor, but now I'm one platinum richer, which is... Well, that was Dark Souls 3. As you can
Blank.
tell, I
Oh,
think this
not
game
good.
is phenomenal. I've pretty much glazed every aspect of this game except...
Not a good time for my video to be running out.
Dark Souls 3, I'd say the beginning is overall kind of weak. Like, most of the bosses aren't that good in the beginning. I'd say the game truly becomes goated once you hit...
She has a second phase?
That long to get to, but there's a good
I didn't even know she had a second phase for real.
Some of the early
Go.
bosses, like Udex Gundyr and Abyss Walker,
Go.
are absolutely amazing, though, but they're kind of just...
Grow or go.
Alright, now time for the ranking. This is where it gets really tough. I will say I think Elden Ring is
That
still
did nothing.
number 1, and I'm going to also say that I don't think anything can beat Elden Ring.
Oh.
I have nostalgia for it.
Good job, Alexander.
I played it when it first came out, and this series has helped me realize that Elden Ring is probably...
Alexander, no.
So Dark Souls 3 is just not on that level for me, I don't
Nope,
think. But the
I don't
hard
like
part
that.
of ranking this game is, do I like it more than
Okina,
Dark
I'm pretty sure
Souls?
that's
It's
Okina.
also
We
comes
got
down to
this.
what I value most in these games. I think Bloodborne definitely has the better atmosphere and exploration, but to tell you the truth, I value boss fights more than anything in these games, and I think
Oh, I
Dark
can't
Souls
heal.
3 wins in that regard. Not by much.
I'm gonna
because
go
Bloodborne
grab the
does
other
have
summons
some
around the
time,
arena,
but
wherever
as
they
of
are.
now, I'm putting Dark Souls 3 barely in number 2. Like,
And do I have any other
really
healing
marginally.
items?
But like, talk to me again in a week, and I'll probably say I like Bloodborne more. This will flip flop like a million times, I bet. But as of now, it's going in number 2.
Come on, I need you guys.
Taking the Covenant grinding into consideration because the Bloodborne
Yo,
grinding is
Okina still
overall
got that in the bag,
these
though.
rankings aren't based on the platinum, it's just based on how
Oh,
much I enjoy
nope,
the game.
never
And
mind.
obviously, you don't need to do the Covenant grinding to enjoy Dark Souls.
Hey, I
It's
need
also
you to
just
heal
a
me.
similar game to Elden Ring,
Can you
so
heal me?
naturally, if Elden Ring is my favorite game of all time, then Dark Souls 3 will probably be up there somewhere.
But
as
you could
well.
pause
There
the
you
game like
have
he
it.
can
There's
Hollow
only
Knight.
one Souls game left in Sekiro. We'll tackle that in the next video. If you enjoyed this, drop a like.
This
and
isn't a good
sub,
time
and
for it
see
to
you
run
next time.
out.
Have a good one. Take care. Now get out of here.
Please just be able to dodge. I'm just gonna dodge until the summon skiller because I'm just not even gonna get close. Just throw ranged. Oh, there's a lot of explosives. Come on. No, not the frames. Anything but the frames, please. Motherfucker! Oh my goodness. Yo, I hate dying. Whenever the boss is so low.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to finally wrap up the Dark Souls trilogy. Because today, alright guys, it's time. Today I actually platinum Dark Souls 2. This is the next part getting
Oh
the
my
platinum
God, bro.
trophy for all the From Software Soulsborne games. And this might be a little bit of a weird one. Because unlike basically every other Souls game, people hate this one.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
I'm just gonna go
But
do
hey,
something
I'm
else.
jumping into this game with no expectations.
Why don't we
no
do Volcano
outside
Manor?
influence, and no bias. Dark Souls 2 has 38 trophies, a difficulty of 6 out of 10, which is kind of low for these games, and an estimated completion time of 80 hours. And if this is the first video of mine that you see, at the end of every Souls video, I'm going to rank each game to see which one is truly the best. So if you want to see more content like this, be sure to drop a like and a sub.
I'll think about it. I don't even
Let's
want to
get
go do
straight
that.
into this. The game starts off with
Shout.
what? No character creation. Nah, not this time. Instead, this old lady just starts absolutely yapping.
You lose your souls over and over again.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Okay, now here's the character
Where's I going?
creation. And I
Here.
genuinely had no idea who to make this time, so I just made this guy. It doesn't really matter, his face is going to be covered for the entire playthrough anyway. And I picked a dexterity-based starting build because I wanted to eventually use a katana in this playthrough. And I also got a trophy for creating my character, W3B. Then I made my way to Majula, this game's main hub and one of the only good-looking locations in the entire game. I then wandered around for a while and got a trophy for dying for the first time. Wow, thanks for rubbing it in, assholes. Then I made my way through the first main level of this game, and at the end I found the first boss, the Last Giant. And he initiates the fight by charging straight at me full force. And to be honest, I was a little intimidated at first, until I figured out that he has about 3 moves in his arsenal, and then I beat him first try. But hey, it's a tutorial boss, let's cut him some slack. He tried his best. Then I made my way through the second area and fought the Dragon Rider boss, who also only has a couple of moves that are really easy to dodge, but he did kill me once, so
Time
I'll give him some
for
credit.
Fire Giant
Even
again.
One of the worst areas in the game became accessible. No
I
man
really
to
hate this
dwarf.
fight,
This
dude.
location just sucks ass. There's an insane amount of enemies here, and the
Spin to
run
win,
back
spin to win, spin to win,
is
spin to win, spin to win, spin to win.
and that's the main issue with this entire game. The devs thought it would be funny to spam enemies in the most annoying places and make the areas themselves harder than the bosses. And what this does is make almost every single boss fight in the game feel underwhelming. Also, another dumb thing they did is make the Estus Flask an absolute piece of shit. You know, the main healing item from the last game, yeah, it just
Oh, I
sucks.
didn't
Now,
see
you
that
only
he
get
did that.
one at the start, and it takes 5 business days to drink it. And once you actually do drink it, your health doesn't even go up that fast. Like, look at this. Come on, we don't got all day. Instead, you have to rely on consumable healing items called life gems. These take way less time to pop and slowly regenerate your health over time. And you can hold up to
Yo,
99
lock-on's the
of them,
worst
so
bit of
basically
the worst part of this
infinite
fight, bro.
healing. I guess game balancing just got thrown out the window with this one. Also, last thing, your rolls in this game start out terrible. You have to level up a
Not
stat
good.
and waste about 20 levels to get the normal Dark Souls 1 roll with the proper iframes. That is absolutely ridiculous. Enough ranting, there will be more of that later, but what I just mentioned plays the entire game going forward, so keep those things in mind. The next boss is the Flexile Sentry, and yeah, he's pretty easy. He has two sides, one of them attacks slowly, and the other one just goes apeshit. So I made sure to keep aggro on the slow side, and I beat him on my third attempt. Then I found the Pursuer boss, and this fight is actually good. I have like no complaints about it.
Okay.
So his combos were
So
fun.
I run away now.
That's literally all
Very
I
good
had.
thing to run away from. Actually, I don't know if that was a good thing to run away from.
Area, the Lost Bastille. This area is important because getting to the end of it gives me a trophy, so I made my way through the entire area, finding the Lost Sinner boss at the end, and this is yet another solid boss fight. The nearly pitch black arena
Oh,
also
please,
gives
dude.
the boss a very creepy vibe. He
Yo.
has some BS hitboxes, but hey, such is life. He still didn't give me that much trouble and was quickly eliminated. After the fight,
That
I
hit?
the first primal bonfire of
That's
the game,
dumb.
which is literally just a bonfire that teleports you back to Majula after lighting it, and this is just kind of lame to be honest. Like in Dark Souls 1, they always found some weird creative way to connect seemingly dead ends back to Firelink Shrine, and it made the world actually feel like one piece. But in this game, it just basically feels like all the areas are separate levels rather than one complete world. And I've heard that as the games go on, they focus less and less on trying to connect to the hub world, which I think is a missed opportunity. Except for Elden Ring. Imagine getting to the other side of the world and then having to circle back to the Round Table Hold. That would be genuinely awful. Anyways, then I found the secret Belfry Luna location, and this is where I found my first Covenant of the playthrough thanks to this little dwarf, who actually looks better than the ones in the Snow White movie. And then also in this area is the Belfry Gargoyles. Oh, this is kind of cool. It's like a callback to Dark
This
Souls 1.
is
I'm just
an
gonna
annoying
fight
boss
the gargoyle,
fight.
bro. Yeah, no.
Especially in this arena. I just think Fire Giant just isn't that good of a boss, I'm gonna be completely honest.
I hate it. I also fought a trio boss.
I don't think I'm the first one to say it. And I'm definitely not gonna be the last one to say either.
Strategy was to just get one hit in and then run away like a pussy until they were all dead. I don't really know how else you're supposed to do this fight, so there you go. Then I moved on to the Huntsman's
Yo, this- I'm actually nervous, bro.
Executioner's Chariot. And this is a gimmick boss that I actually think is pretty good. Basically, you just gotta
Just
get
die,
him into
die,
this
die.
long circle and dodge the chariot as he runs around. Then flip this lever and a gate gets lowered, causing the
No, no, no,
chariot
no,
to
please,
smash
please, no, no, no.
into it, and then it's
Die.
just a normal fight
Okay, good.
against force.
Okay,
Very
good.
easy, but still fun nonetheless. Then I found the statue item to bring it back to life, and it
There you
turns
go.
out that she's a pretty damn
And a golden
important
seed.
NPC that I need. So to start, I got a trophy for giving her some clothes to wear, and I'll be seeing her again later to buy some spells, because of course those trophies are back. Then I fought the Skeleton Lord's boss, and this is just one of the many bosses in this game that FromSoft just spams a bunch of really weak normal enemies at you, slaps a communal health bar on them, and calls it a day. Nothing burger fight piss easy. And this brought me to the Harvest Valley, and this is the poison area of this game. But I'll give DS2 some credit because it's not just a random lake that has poison in it, it's an actual area, and in this area is the Sunlight Covenant, which I got a trophy for discovering. Then
Give
I
me
found the
this,
Covenant
which is-
Secret,
ooh,
and
that's
this
another
is
remembrance, let's
nothing fight.
go.
The dude has like 2 moves and poses almost no threat. So as it
Can I have my
turns out,
stamina
if you
back?
try to turn Jabba the Hutt into a boss fight,
you.
it doesn't really work well. I don't really know why they did this. Who thought this was a good idea? And shortly after him, I fought Mitha, the Baneful Queen, and this fight is okay. Nothing too special, but not bad. I was entertained. And beating this boss got me access to
So.
one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So there's this elevator that takes me up to the next area, and you may
Please
have
tell me I
noticed
can
that
dodge
the
it.
previous area
Go, go, go,
was
go,
a
go,
whole
go, go,
lot
go.
sky. So there really shouldn't be anything above this.
And then
But
there's
there is,
not
and
Moon
it
Grum.
looks like this. How the hell is that even possible? World connectivity is non-existent.
So how about
in this game.
no?
This is the current state of world design in Dark Souls 2. This is the diagram. This is what it looks like. But yeah, this is the Iron Key.
You're just
probably the
gonna
most iconic
spam
area in the entire
sorceries.
game. But before I completed this area,
So I'm up
I
here.
went on a little detour. I discovered a Covenant in Majula, and then made it to Black Gulch, where I fought the Rotten boss with some help from an NPC named Lucatiel, who I need to summon in 3 different specific fights throughout the game. And I actually screwed up this quest because I didn't know that
Is
if
that
you talk
Margit?
to her in a
That is
specific
Margit.
area before you do the 3 boss fights, then she just disappears forever. Yeah, you just got.
Oh, no, it's Morgoth.
They don't even warn you.
even
So
better.
if you see her in my boss fights, just ignore it because it didn't get me anywhere in this playthrough. But this boss is solid, I liked it. It's the classic slow but hits like a truck type boss, and he ended up not being very hard. But hey, he was guarding the second
Awesome.
primal bonfire, which gave me a trophy. Then I just talked to this NPC a bunch, and he gave
I just
me
realized I had
stuff, which
15,000
got me
souls
another
on me.
trophy, and now we can get through the
That's
Iron
awesome.
Keep. And oh boy, this area is the pinnacle of everything wrong with Dark Souls 2. Tons of enemies being placed in egregiously unfair spots. Like, this area just feels really mean-spirited. I don't even think they tested this out. They just made this area and thought it was really funny and kept it in the game and did not give two shits. This run back is actual hell, but luckily the Smelter Demon boss isn't that hard, and it's actually pretty damn good. One of the best fights in the game. This time I fought him with Lucatiel, but in one of my future runs I also fought him solo and truly got to
Ooh,
experience
two-handed
the fight.
sword
Yes,
talisman.
it's good. Then after that I fought the Old Iron
I would
King,
actually
who
very
is
gladly
really
take
cool
that.
looking, but the boss fight is actually terrible. The dude has the most telegraphed attacks I've ever seen, and it's just kind of boring. Like, there's legit nothing to say about this guy. I expect this level of boss fight out of like Mario 64. But after killing him, I got to another primal bonfire for another trophy. Let's go. Then I fought Scorpioness Najka in the Shaded Ruins, and I'm seeing some inspiration for Romina in Elden Ring, and that's pretty cool. Maybe Dark Souls 2 did do something right, because that is a pretty good boss fight. But in reality, this boss fight just kind of feels like Quelaag from Dark Souls 1, but only slightly worse. But Quelaag was a good fight, so that makes this also a good fight, just slightly worse. What can I say? FromSoft just cook when it comes to the bug ladies. Defeating her took me to the Brightstone Cove Seldora, which I hope is pronounced correctly, I don't know. And this is home to another worthless fight, that being Prowling Magus and the Congregation. Magus himself takes about 5 shots to kill, especially with the help from this NPC that I summoned. He has the same exact questions Lucatiel from earlier, just with different bosses. I get a trophy for both of them, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I hope I did. And the Congregation is just all the other enemies in the area. Why do they keep doing this? This format.
Where'd
for
the
a boss fight
NPC
is
go? Did the
genuinely
NPC
awful.
die?
Then
He's
I
just
fought
not
the
here.
Royal Rat Authority, and I don't know, this thing looks more like a dog than a rat to me. This fight is basically just Sith from the first game, except it has none of the lore, none of the aura, and no giant sword. And beating this boss gets me to this talking rat NPC who grants me access to the Rat Covenant. Okay, I've already said this about other things in this game, but I'm 100% convinced that this is a joke. They could not have put this into the game with a straight face. I just cannot believe that. There is a talking rat NPC. Who thought this? Was it you? Was it you, Miyazaki? No, it literally wasn't. You didn't make this game, I'm pretty sure. I think I remember hearing that. Anyway, then I fought this giant spider boss named the Duke Deer Freya, and I was like, wait a minute, the Duke? Like Seath from the first game? And yeah, this is actually his wife or something. I don't really know. Someone related to him. But something actually cool about this game is that the 4 primal bosses are actually being possessed or influenced in some way by the 4 lords from the first game. The Duke's Deer Freya is obviously the Duke himself, Seath the Scaleless. Fuck that boss.
Burst damage, burst damage, burst damage, burst damage. It's not gonna work.
Chaos as shown by this chaos bug.
It didn't work. Why do I have to fight his second phase? I thought that was just like only his arena.
We should all be grateful for that. The Rotten is Grave Lord Nito, and the Old Iron King is the 4 Kings, obviously. I think they just picked that because they both have King in the name.
No, 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 no. Not good.
That's like the only thing that connects this game to the first one. Anyways, this boss fight is alright. I think it's cool that midway through I
Boom.
cut her head off. That's like the only thing I remember about the fight. So let's just like this
Good
fight.
lord, I've never seen this move, bro.
And move on.
Die, 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 die.
Rain Lake
Ooh.
Castle, where I fought a dragon
Eee.
seal. It's literally the same as the first one. There's just, well, 2 of them.
Alright.
Great.
I'm summoning for second phase, I don't care.
Looking Glass Knight. This is a great boss.
What second
For sure
phase?
my favorite of the base game.
Morgat
Again,
Greenfield.
it has fun attack patterns and it looks
NPC.
fucking cool. Like, look at that shield. That's just awesome.
Oh
Come on.
no, it's
Such a good
Fortis
fight that I get to
Fortisax,
see.
bro.
Rest in peace. Unfortunately,
This isn't gonna be fun, bro.
I would say is the worst area in the whole game, the Shrine of Amana.
So I also have to do
actually think
this
area is
part
really
of it.
cool looking. It just has these awful enemies all over the place
Eee.
that snipe you with range attacks. And when I say snipe, I mean Black Ops 2 parry or
Oh,
trick-shot
dude,
from
this
under
is
the
not
map.
gonna be
Like,
fun
you
for
know,
Ronaldo, bro.
projectiles here has to be rage bait. There's no way.
About to be so
Top
bad,
all
bro.
off, this area's
Come
boss
on.
is the Demon of Song. A
Come on,
board
Roger.
fight with a slightly cool gimmick, I'll give it that. It has this hood that it puts up and you can't attack it until it pulls it back down. So that made it a bit more memorable. But the attacks just aren't really fun to dodge in my opinion. They're just large ass AoE sweeping attacks attacks for the most part, but beating the boss took me to the Undead Crypt, where after exploring this very creepy area for a while, I found Velstat, the Royal Aegis. I don't know, I think it's Aegis. And guess what? He's one of my favorite bosses in the game, because he's a giant knight with a giant hammer. What more do I have to say? I just like big men. Wait, but when I found out what he was guarding, it genuinely sent chills down my spine. I go to the end of the area only to find this hulking zombie roaming around the room. Oh yeah, and he greets me with the sound cue.
This is gonna be awesome fight, because now there's 3 NPCs instead of
I thought
1.
he was going to attack me, but he doesn't. He just literally wanders. This is Vendrick, the king of Drang Lake. He's basically the Gwyn of Dark Souls 2, but even Gwyn, who was completely followed at that point,
I'm expected to beat this right after Morgott.
Vendrick doesn't even do that. He's literally a complete husk. There is nothing going on up there, and that freaked me the hell out.
Remember, I still have to do Fortisac after this, by the way.
Which gave me a trophy and is vital for progressing further as it opens up a lot of endgame areas. Next, I had to go through Aldia's Keep, which took me to the Guardian Dragon, who is basically just your average run-of-the-mill dragon. Not much to say about him, to be honest. And this whole area reminded me of Ash Lake from Dark Souls 1 with all the giant...
Die.
Die.
Okay, I killed one.
Considering both areas are themed around dragons. I don't know. But then I progressed upwards where I found even more dragons. And this is probably the coolest area in the whole game. They even got these dragon knights that watch you as you fight your way.
I don't like how there's a guy with 2 duelist axe. That's not fun.
They just watch you. They're pretty chill. I fuck with them. I do not fuck with this boss though. This is the ancient dragon and he is annoying as hell. Bro has literally like 2 moves in total. But this fire breathing attack has an insane amount of range and does like almost your entire health bar. It's so stupid. And he's an absolute tank, so this fight takes forever to get through. I found this to be a good excuse to switch weapons to the red iron twin blade because I've never used a strength based twin blade in any of these games. And wanted to give
Okay,
it a
so
shot.
I'm not one shot to any attack.
So I just watched episode 1 of Star Wars, so I was kind of on my Darth Maul arc.
Heal.
I also upgraded it to max level.
That barely healed me. I didn't know that it did that.
I beat the boss pretty easily with
Oh
it,
my
and I
god,
wasn't
bro.
distracted by the scenery
This
just
is very
because I
annoying.
was there. I wasn't ready, but in the end I still won. And
Please
got
tell
a
me I can
trophy
just do
for
Fortisac
beating the
at least
boss.
if I
Then
even
fought
do
the
this.
Giant Lord with my trusty NPC friend,
Yo.
and after killing the boss, I got the trophy
You know, like,
for
go
finishing
away.
this boss line. Then I went back into the Undead Crypt to fight Vendrick because it is in fact the boss fight. You just have to piss him off first. And he is a tanky boy, but his attacks are
I'm not
really
going in that
easy to
mist.
dodge. I found that staying to his
Stop
left
camping in the mist.
absolutely trivialized
Stop it!
this fight, and once he was dead,
I said
got
stop
the
it!
trophy. And after the fight,
Nope.
I was able to enter his memories and talk to
Please,
him.
no.
Well, not that the other one wasn't real. He was just
This is
kinda
like the
not
worst
functioning.
part of this
Hey,
fight,
it's cool
bro.
to see Vendrick back when he was actually just a chill dude. Now we're basically at the end of the game, so at this point I'm gonna jump into the 3 DLCs of this game.
Good
because I
lord,
actually get
dude.
to collect different spells in each of them for trophies, so I'm not just doing this for fun. The first DLC is the Crown of the Sunken King. This
Stop
is probably the worst
casting!
story. I just didn't really like navigating the area that much, to be honest. And then I found this trio boss, which made it even worse.
Oh,
This fight
you're
was
so close to
totally
dying by
perfect,
now.
which is kind of crazy to make a boss fight around that. But obviously it's just me, so I had to do the good old get one hit in and run away strat. Never fails.
Alright, time for Fortisacs, bro. Oh no. Okay. I thought I did do Fortisacs. That means Fortisacs is going to be a 2-phase boss arena.
This DLC is Sin the Slumbering Dragon, and this is actually
That's gonna be
a
very
cool
annoying.
arena too. The dude shoots green fire for crying out loud. That is an automatic bonus. Good finale to an otherwise mediocre DLC. Not bad. Next
I want
DLC
to
is
have
the
a
Crown
bunch
the
of
Old
strength.
Iron King, and this DLC has the 2 best bosses.
Now give me
in the
40
entire game.
strength
The
if I
first
can
is the
wheel,
Green
so I can
Knight,
wheel
and
Giant
this fight is
Crusher.
tough, but very fun. He has a lot of mix-ups
And then a
in
bunch of
his combos, and I
endurance.
had to pretty
It's like
much
the best I can do.
memorize the entire moveset to figure it out.
Oslo's
Apparently,
O's.
there's also a blue smelter deal
I will
in
be
this
right
DLC,
back.
but I never found it. I don't know where the hell he's at. So on to the final boss, Sir Alon. And I gotta be honest, This is my favorite Dark Souls boss fight so far. My favorite before was Artorias, but I don't know, there's something about Cyril Lon, bro. The arena is top tier.
Alright, I'm back.
Very difficult, but fair. And he's a goddamn samurai. S tier boss, put him in Night Rain immediately. And the final DLC is the Crown of the Old Ivory King. The first boss in this area is Ava, the king's pet, and he's a freaking white tiger, which just goes so hard. Good boss too. There's some bullshit in there, but who cares? Tiger. And there's another boss fight where it's just 2 tigers, but the route to get to the boss is so infuriating for like absolutely no reason, so I just gave up on it. It was late at night and I couldn't be bothered. But the final fight of the Ivory King DLC is the Ivory King. Shocker. And the aura of this fight is just off the charts. The fight begins with me and a few NPC allies fighting a horde of enemies. Then after they were dead, the Ivory King himself emerges, and look at this. This is
Time to
just
upgrade
aura
Giant
farming
Crusher.
to the max. Come on, this shit is sick. The fight itself isn't really anything special, but it's the presentation that just elevates it.
I just
Second
need
best DLC in the game, and that's it for the Dark Souls
a
2
few
DLC.
more
Overall, I
Smithing
think it's a
Stone
mixed
2.
bag, but most of the boss fights are better than the base game, so I'll give it a thumbs up overall. Now on to the final boss of the base game, the Throne Watcher and the Throne Defender. The Watcher is agile and the Defender is tanky. I actually like this duo fight, it's pretty fun. Besides the fact that they can revive each other at full HP, that was not so good. But it only happened once, so like whatever. Good final boss. Wait, oh shit, that wasn't even the final boss. This is the final boss, and she's one of the easiest bosses in the game. Yeah, she doesn't really do anything. Well, now I'm just disappointed. Final boss, my ass. Wait, oh shit, that wasn't the final boss either. Wow, how many final bosses are there? This is Aldia, the actual 100% guaranteed final boss. I'm serious, there's actually nobody after him. And he's also really easy, but at least he's more of a challenge than this bitch. There's also a lot of story involved with him, so it's a bit of a cinematic fight. But all you gotta do is just don't go near him while he's on fire, and dodge the giant pillars that come out of the ground, and that's pretty much it. Give me my damn throne. I spent like 50 plus hours getting here. And there's the trophy for beating the game. So now it's time for the cleanup, and also 2 more playthroughs of the game. Oh god. I found a Covenant for a trophy, then fought Ornstein from DS1. What the hell are you doing here? Unfortunately, I was supposed to fight this dude early game, but I missed him, so I ended up killing him in like 2 seconds. And I did this to access yet another Covenant, and then I talked to this random dude in the middle of nowhere for another trophy. He also gave me the last gesture for the first collectible trophy of the video. Then I got a
I'm gonna be able to
shown here, and then I talked to this corpse
be able to get
trophy. Then I had to get a trophy for getting max devotion
gonna be able to get
Covenant. I picked the Abyss
4
Covenant
upgrades,
because
so
most
plus
other
4.
ones require insane amounts of grinding. All I had to do for this Covenant was fight the secret Dark Lurker boss, who is a magic user. And midway through the fight, bro pulls out Shadow Clone Jutsu and turns this into a 2v1. Like, come on, bro, you are such a bitch. Get the hell out of my face. Easy trophy. Then I completed a few more NPC quests, including Lucatiels in playthrough number 2, which is the one that I missed before, in case you forgot. And now all I had to do was collect all the spells, which there are a shit ton of in this game. But the most infamous one is definitely the Sunlight Spear, which requires 30 Sunlight medals to trade to the
Please tell me
Sunlight
of just
Covenant.
2 Smithing Stone 2s by chance.
And the way I got this done is by farming Sunlight medals from these enemies for hours. I think in total it took like 5 or 6. And I did this over the course of like 2 days.
I can now go explore Lando.
This all in one shot. That would have been crazy. Farming sucks, but hey, this is really the only thing I had to farm in this game, so I'll take it. I got all the sorceries and the hexes in this playthrough, but then I had to do a whole nother one all the way up until Drang Lake Castle, which is about like 75% of the way through the game, because these stupid sons of bitches locked spells behind the 3rd playthrough. Like, come on, bro, why are we gatekeeping like this? But I purchased the last spells from this guy, got the trophies for them, and consequently got the platinum. Alright, that was Dark Souls 2, and now for the moment everybody's been waiting for, maybe. I don't know, you probably forgot. But it's the ranking. Oh boy, here we... Ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. Today I got the Platinum Trophy for Dark Souls.
I love having no one on my
stream.
stream.
Entry into my mission of Platinum.
You can't expect too much from having absolutely
I've already
nothing.
done Elden Ring and Demon Souls, so after you're done with this video...
Not much to this.
Well. And at the end of each video, I'm going to be ranking the games based on my opinion on how good they are. And I've been hella excited to finally play Dark Souls, because it's like the most iconic one in the whole series. Pretty much everyone's heard of Dark Souls, even if you have no idea what the game is about. And if you have played this game, then you know the crazy ride I'm about to go on. But But anyways, Dark Souls has 41 trophies, including the Platinum. It clocks in at about 70 hours to complete, and it's rated at an 8 out of 10 difficulty, making this the hardest Souls Platinum FromSoft has made to this day. And this is mainly because, well, the game itself is pretty difficult, even fucking brutal at times. It's also absolutely littered with missable trophies, and missing just one thing in a playthrough could cause you to have to do a whole nother one. Let's see if Dark Souls really lives up to its reputation. And if you want to see more videos like this, then consider
This isn't doing the giant crusher damage I wanted it to do, unfortunately. But I don't know what I expected.
But without further ado, enjoy the video. Alright, wow, this is a familiar screen. Yeah, I tried looking up a funny character creation, but quickly realized that the customization in this game is hot garbage. So I just worked with the shit that I was given and made Leon from Resident Evil. If you squint hard enough, and if you're blind, then it looks just like him. I'm also doing another big boy strength build, so I went with a tanky starting class, and now I'm in. The game starts off with my dumbass stuck in prison after I stole a dozen eggs from the local grocery store. If you know, you know. So this kind gentleman gives me a key, W homie, and while exploring the area, I got the first trophy of the video for activating my very first bonfire. Then I went a little further and found the Asylum Demon, this game's tutorial boss. I tried to beat
Battle
him
mage
first try, but that
use.
didn't work at all because I had nothing but a broken sword. What I was supposed to do was run past the boss into this door, grab my actual belongings, and then refight the boss. And along the way, I found a knight that helped me in the beginning, and he was in pretty bad
Boom.
shape. But before
Why are
I
these
could do
frame
this,
drops
let's
existing,
go.
bro?
Oh wait, no, he actually
Good
gave me
lord.
the Estus Flask. Okay, and after I did what I was supposed
That's
to
a big
do, I
ass
killed the
hand. I'd
boss.
rather
Let's
not.
go. One
Okay,
down,
nope.
a lot more to go. Then I get kidnapped by this big old bird, and then I get taken to the main hub of this game,
Alright.
Firelink Shrine, where I get another trophy for arriving. There's also another thing to look out for in this game, and it's the covenants that you can join. These are just different factions available in the world that you're able to access through NPCs. Joining each one gets you a trophy, and I'm gonna have to actually level up in some of these covenants later to get exclusive items for more trophies. And with that out of the way, I was able to leave Firelink Shrine and actually start exploring the world. And while going through the Undead Burg, I found the next
What are these
boss of the
frame
game.
drops,
This is the
bro?
Taurus Demon. He's not really that hard. I beat him on my first try, second try, third try, fourth try. And on the fifth try, without any outside forces intervening, I finally beat the boss. And only after 2 boss fights in this game, I can confidently say that this game is already harder than the entirety of Demon Souls. After traveling a little further, I came across the Red Dragon. Now this isn't a boss fight, but I did have to fight it and cut off its tail for a rare weapon in order to pop this trophy.
Bam!
By the way, isn't popping anytime
Boom.
soon. It's pretty much the whole reason why this video is as long as it is. And doing this is really only the first step of getting it. I then made my way into the Undead Parish, and this is where I found the next main boss of the game, that being the Bell Gargoyle Duo. And yes, I said duo.
Fuck me!
Holy shit, these fellas were annoying. The first gargoyle was pretty manageable, even if its moveset took me a little longer than I wish to admit to figure out. But once this second fucker came into the fray, I was just getting absolutely demolished.
Is there another
I swear
weapon
I
that's
tried my
bleed?
best to finish off the first one, but the second guy would just spam
Nope.
the same flamethrower attack over and over again, and I couldn't really get near either of them half the time. But I will say the Drake sword that I got from the dragon helped me a lot with this fight due to its ranged attack. And another important thing to note about this fight is that I had to cut off one of the gargoyle's tails to get another rare weapon. Ultimately, while I will say that I did not dislike this fight, I found the flamethrower attack to be needlessly cheap, and it just slowed down the fight to a grinding halt. But other than that,
Be
not a
something-
terrible duo
Not
fight.
what I
With the
wanted, but it
gargoyles out of the
works.
way, I was able to climb to the top of the bell, and if I ring this
Can
bell
my
and then
controller
another
stop
bell that I
dying?
find later in the game,
That'd be helpful.
the door is gonna open to unlock a whole
Is this the helmet that
doing that, and it gives me a trophy.
That's
And
a
I fought the
one.
Capper Demon boss, and talk about cheap, because 2 dogs are also in the boss arena at the start. But even so, I still beat this fight first try. I was able to focus down the dogs pretty easily, and then once the boss
I want my-
was it a clean fight? No. But it doesn't really matter.
I want my this
This
thing back.
boss also gives the key to the next area of the game, which is the depths.
Now I
If
look
you
kinda
watched my
cool.
Elden Ring Platinum video, you'll know that I absolutely hate sewers. So luckily, these sewers actually aren't that bad. They're not good, but they were manageable. And this area houses the next boss of my playthrough, which is the Gaping Dragon. Bit of a weird name, but okay. I had to also cut this guy's tail off, so I hard focused the tail the whole fight. And once I cut it off, the boss was pretty much defenseless.
Let's go
against
see
back
what
attacks. So I just did that.
took
and
over
fight
is
was
the best
over.
weapon in the
And this
game,
boss
aka
also took me to
Starfist.
the next area. Now,
I hope I
unfortunately,
find
it's
Starfist,
sad
bro.
though.
Like-
That next area was Blight now.
Okay, so I get
This is
one
the
shot.
Poison lake of this game, because FromSoft just can't resist the urge to put a damn poison lake in every single game. Let me tell you, some parts of this area have me genuinely tweaking. This area is pretty ruthless, but it's still somehow not the worst area in the game. And it also has one of the better bosses in this game, that being Quelaag. And no, not for the reason you may be thinking.
You sick freak!
This boss is pretty damn fun though. I mean, it's a spider with a fire sword. How can that not be fun? Wasn't super difficult either, but I did die a couple of times to her explosion attack because I just did not see that coming. And in the run where I actually managed to win, we killed each other. Absolute cinema. And beating the boss gets me access to the second bell to ring for that door to open. And just like the first bell, I got another trophy after ringing it. I then quickly stumbled upon one of the covenants I have to join, and then I went further down and wandered into what seemed to be hell itself, and I fought the Ceaseless Discharge? What the fuck kind of a name is that? It has to be some kind of semen joke. Anyways, the strat to beating this guy is to just run away until you can't anymore, and then smack his hand repeatedly until he dies.
Oh.
I think he fell off a ledge or something. I don't really know. Moving on. But now that the door's open,
So a
let's
giant
get
crusher
back
with
to
no
the
health
area.
isn't gonna
Surely
be
it can't
good.
Worse than Blight Town. This is Sen's Fortress. This area is full of tanky enemies, booby traps, and narrow bridges. Alright, sounds absolutely
What
perfect,
happened to
but
your
how's it
design,
actually
brother?
fun? Is it worse than Blight Town? Well, I don't think so. But I've seen a lot of people online think otherwise. I was only in here for about 30 minutes and didn't find the path to be that hard to follow. The enemies and traps were annoying, but I played Souls games before, so I know they're cheap tricks. It ain't gonna work on me. But I did make it to the top of the fortress where I found the Iron Golem. No, not that one. And he is really tanky, but hitting his legs a bunch eventually staggers him, and then hitting them even more makes him actually fall down. Easy fight, but pretty fun. I liked it a lot. It reminded me of the Tower Knight from Demon Souls. Anyways, upon killing this guy, I was transported to the most iconic location in the game, and possibly the whole series, on Orlando. Wow, what a beautiful sight. So beautiful, in fact, that it gives you a trophy for arriving here. And it's in the main castle of this area that holds the most iconic boss fight in this game, Ornstein and Smo. I heard a lot of good things about these guys before I started playing, mostly that they're the best duo fight in the whole series, and they're also a very good challenge. And as soon as I reached on Orlando, I immediately recognized the area and knew that their boss fight was coming up. And then I actually found them, and they kicked my ass for about 30 minutes. I tried killing Smo first, but then Super Ornstein was proving too difficult for me to handle, so I tried the other way around. I focused down Ornstein and found Super Smo to be astronomically easier. I don't know why, their moves are kind of similar in the second stage, but Smo just felt more predictable to me. And just like that, Ornstein and Smo were dead. I definitely agree that this is the best duo fight in Souls so far. And it just makes me wish that this is how the Godskin duo turned out, but unfortunately, they're still a piece of shit. I then went into this room and found...
Oh my goodness!
This is the most unnecessary gooner character design I've seen in one of these games so far. The Marvel Rivals team had to have been responsible for making this character. Anyway, she gives me the Lord Vessel, which gives me a trophy. Hell yeah. But it also lets me warp between bonfires. Thank
Where
God.
did you
After
come
being
from?
absolutely spoiled with Elden Ring and being able to warp around wherever the hell I wanted, it
Hey.
felt so slow to have to walk
Hey.
everywhere. But on the other hand, it did make the world feel more connected, and it made me feel more like a part of it. But fast travel is nice, so I don't really care anymore at this point. I just want to move fast. I then went to fight the
What boss
Stray
took over
Demon
Godfrey
boss,
and
which is
it's
basically just
Mesmer,
the
bro.
reskin of the Asylum Demon, which was the
This
very
isn't
first
good.
boss of the game. Still easy as hell. I then entered the painted world of Ariamis, and this is a secret area that can be accessed through Honor Orlando. There's actually no way to get out of this area unless you know the specific way, which at the moment we do not. And that brings me to the next boss, Priscilla, who actually knows how to get out but doesn't want to because she thinks she can transform the painted world into a better place. At least that's what I got from people on Reddit. They're usually right. Anyway, Priscilla is actually pretty chill. The fight doesn't even start unless you attack her first. And she even tells you how to leave, so you can just completely bypass this fight if you feel like being a good person. But I need to cut off her tail for a weapon, and killing her also gives me a trophy. So peace was never an option. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this, but wait, where the fuck did she go? Oh, hell no,
This
that
might
bitch
not
went
work.
invisible. This is some Predator shit. The only way to find her is by tracking her footsteps in the snow, and then once you hit her, she gets revealed for a little while. She's piss easy once you figure her out. So during the fight, I made sure to cut off her tail, and then I killed her first try.
Okay, so this isn't gonna be an option.
And I also like the area. I don't know, it just gives me good vibes. Then I went back to Blight Town to try to get to a secret area, and to get there I had to go down this giant tree. And these branches are so confusing to fall down without just immediately dying. But eventually I found the way down while still keeping some of my sanity intact. And this whole thing leads to Ash Lake. And this is one of the highlights of the game for me. I think this area is so cool and it's so different compared to everything else in the game. It's also one of the only areas to have its own music track, which makes it feel even more like I just stumbled upon something really important. I think one of the only other locations locations that has music, it's like Firelink Shrine. But other than that, I don't know if any location just has background music. This game is very quiet. I don't really know the lore of this place, but I'm sure it is.
I'm just gonna try out this
area
thing, bro.
also kind of freaks me out, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have the words to describe it, but seeing like the massive trees in the distance and the seemingly infinite lake is just like unsettling for some reason. This feels like a location where you would just see Cthulhu posted up in the distance, even though in actuality there is no boss in this area, just this dumbass Hydra that I killed because it spits water at you and it's fucking annoying. But the actual reason I'm down here is just to join the Stone Dragon's Covenant, which gives me a trophy. I also cut off his tail for a rare weapon, and doing that doesn't even piss him off. Man just does not give a single fuck. I love this guy. But nah, this area is really awesome. If you play this game, go explore it. It's really cool. Then I found myself in another one of my favorite areas in this game, which is the Darkroot Garden. And there are 2 bosses that I have to kill in here.
Let me try Giant Crusher. Even though it's probably not gonna work.
Nothing burger. It just spams magic that is ridiculously easy to dodge, and then eventually goes right up to you and stands there until you kill it. I don't get it. I feel like I missed something. But fortunately, the next boss is way better. This is Sith, and he's just here guarding his master Artorias' grave. My understanding of this is that Artorias was consumed by the Void, and Sith doesn't want anybody else to share that same fate. He just kills everyone before they get to the Void. And sadly, I have to enter the Void, so Sith has to die. This is such a sad fight. He's just a giant dog. I don't want to kill him. He's a good boy. They even added a feature where Sith limps when you get him low enough. Miyazaki, you are a sick man. And killing Sith gets me another trophy. Not proud of that one. Also, in another terrible twist, I have to do 3 playthroughs of this game. And the entire reason for the 3rd playthrough is just to kill Sith again to get another copy of his soul. This game, man, I swear they did it on purpose. Those psychopaths. Well, now that I can Abyss Walk, it's time to put it to use. I ventured to New Londo Ruins, where I fought like hell to get past these stupid ghost enemies. I seriously hate these guys. But eventually I made it to the boss arena, and I had to put on Artorias' ring and then jump
That's
down
a frame
the
trap.
black hole. And now that I'm in the Abyss,
That's
the
awesome.
Lord King's boss fight begins. This fight kinda sucks. It's just not that engaging of a boss. Basically how it works is there is initially 1 king, but periodically throughout the fight another one will be added to the fight until all 4 are in. And if you want to win this fight, you'll have to kill the first one before the next one comes in, otherwise you'll quickly get overwhelmed and die. And since you want to kill what's in front of you so fast, the fight essentially becomes a DPS check, and it even becomes detrimental to try and dodge. It's better to just go unga bunga and face tank literally everything. The boss also does less damage the closer you are.
Kaboom, I missed.
But even with all those issues, the fight is still pretty cool. It's incredibly memorable.
Did I not dodge that? Or am I playing Dark Souls 2?
It caused me to lose my depth perception at times. Like, there were points where I genuinely could not tell how close I was to the boss, and I would just whiff an attack. Overall, it's a pretty mid-fight with cool presentation. Killing him nets me a trophy, and also this guy appears. This is Koth, and he lets me join a covenant to get another trophy. Then I quickly went back to the Darkroot Garden and found this funny-looking dog, and he let me join another covenant. Next up, I had to go through the Duke's archives.
Sure, that could be Mesmer, bro. I've almost done this fight hitless, bro. Not with Giant Crusher, though. I love getting one shot by every tech. I need a better weapon, bro. I might need to go Great Claymore and then just rune for it. Well, I don't have any bleed weapons. That's the issue.
Getting to the tail in the first place is a nightmare in itself because the boss just keeps turning towards the player, so I could never even get behind him. And even when I did get back there, he just started slamming his tail all over the place, so I couldn't even cut it off. The most reliable strategy is to just bait him into using a front-facing attack and then booking it like Usain Bolt to the tail and then getting 2 to 3 hits off before backing off and repeating the process. And the tail should come off relatively easily if you do that. And the weapon you get from the tail is actually the Moonlight Greatsword, which is from Elden Ring. It was in Elden Ring first, and then they patched it into the other games after because the weapon was just so sick. Yeah, it's definitely what happened. That's a pretty cool piece of trivia. Once you cut the tail off, the boss is just insanely easy. I just out-damaged him and tanked most of the attacks, and I got a trophy for beating him. Mid-boss, but pretty cool arena, I will say. I also finished this NPC's quest line, which gave me the last sorcery for the Collect All Sorceries trophy.
Do I have any weapon I can use a thing on?
In this area,
I mean, if I can't use it on that axe, I don't think I can use it on this one either. My controller stopped dying, bro.
I got to the next boss. And this is yet another reskin of the Asylum Demon, except now there's explosions all over the place. Yeah, it's still
I need the
easy as hell.
Claymore.
They could give this boss the Blades of Chaos and it would still be easy. Next up, I found the Centipede Demon, and this is actually a boss from the upcoming Elden Ring Night Rain that they ported to this game so they can hype up the new one. That's absolutely genius. The boss itself is, it's fine. It's just fine. There's nothing really special about it. But there is something very special about this next boss.
You do seriously surprise me. Thank you, Chef. I was hoping you'd see that. You surprise me to how shit you are. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the Bed of Chaos is the worst boss fight in this game. No, it's the worst boss fight in the whole series. As someone who still hasn't played 4 of these games, yeah, there's no way one of those bosses is worse than this fucker. How this fight works is that you have to go to either side
I need
of the
3
boss and
decks.
smack the glowy part, and then repeat for the other side.
This
And
isn't
once
gonna
you do that,
work
you have to
very
jump
well.
down to its core and smack that, and then you've done it. Easy, right? No, because this boss has the dumbest attacks I've ever seen. The boss breaks the arena during the fight, and it just does these sweeping attacks that knocks you into the hole that it just created. And it does that over and over and over again. You thought you landed into the middle and are in the clear? Nope. The only good thing about this boss is that your progress saves no matter how many times you die. I think the devs knew how bad and just cheesy of a fight this was and just threw us a bone. Shit fight, absolute pig slot, but hey, can only go up from here, so that's good. Oh yeah, and I got another trophy for beating the boss. And then I got another trophy for unlocking all the pyromancies in the game. I then entered the Catacomb / Tomb of the Giants area, and this is my personal least favorite area in the whole game. It's just so dark, like you can't even see. This doesn't make for good video footage, and the enemies in the area are just really annoying in my opinion. These skeleton wheel enemies are the worst in the whole game, and I won't be taking any arguments about that. Like, these guys just genuinely suck. And then I fought Pinwheel, who's the hardest boss in the whole game. I actually spent 2 days learning this guy's moveset and still barely scraped by. Peak boss design. I have not felt this accomplished in a video game since millennia. But once I finally beat the fight, which again took me 2 whole days, I got the Rite of Kindling, which is an item that gives me a trophy, and I also just need it to beat the game. I also found another Covenant by sleeping in a coffin, and then ending up by this guy. Hello sir, may I please have a trophy? Thank you. Now look at this riveting gameplay. Can you see where I'm supposed to go? Because I sure fucking can. This fucking area made me crash out. I was about to crash out again just recording the voiceover. So let's just take a quick break, shall we? Here, I went to the blacksmith and upgraded my Zweihander to the max level, which got me the first of many weapon upgrade trophies. I won't be going into too much detail about these because they're boring, like really fucking boring. But I will say that to upgrade all of them, you need over 200 Titanite ore and
See what replaced the
100
Bloodhound,
Titanite
and
ore.
it was Ancient Heroes
God.
More.
And you also need the various color Titanite and the Titanite slabs.
This isn't gonna be an issue.
Types of weapons. But for now, I only got the strongest weapon trophy, and I used it to defeat Grave Lord Nito. This boss is very cool looking, but the fight itself isn't really that great. There's a bunch of skeletons in the arena that just attack you, so that's not fun. But Nito's attacks are insanely easy to dodge and pose almost no threat whatsoever. Like, the skeletons are actually the hardest part of the whole fight, and that's just a problem. Come on.
Thor.
But I killed him and I got a
Thor.
trophy for doing so.
Thor.
And at this point,
Thor.
there's not much more to do before the
Thor.
final boss, so I started
Thor.
collecting some easy trophies before I beat the game. I started with a couple of covenants that I initially
Good lord,
missed,
you
and
do
one of them
damage.
actually leads to a secret boss, that being Dark Sun.
Boom.
And he put all of his stats in
Kerblam.
because he just spams magic and then teleports away once you get close to
A
him.
big
So he
bonk
quickly
go
beats him,
blanc.
He doesn't really have any interesting moves in particular.
That's an extra
But the
weapon
arena
upgrade.
being an infinite hallway is a pretty cool visual. And after Bro ran out of FP, I landed on the trophy for killing him. I then went and got the other weapon upgrade trophies, and this took an insane amount of farming souls to type things dead, and I may have lost the part of losing all the farm.
Oh my
But it's okay,
God,
because
bro.
that's 9 more trophies down the drain. Then I took a quick break from
Lord.
trophies to enjoy the DLC. And the DLC has my favorite boss in the whole game, Artorias of the Abyss. This game overall is pretty slow compared to something like Elden Ring, but Artorias feels like he was ripped out of one of the later games. His moves are all really fun to try and dodge, and I think he's also one of the hardest bosses in this game. Not ridiculous or anything, but a very fun challenge that still feels fair. And this makes me really want to see Artorias get added into Night Rain at some point. I think he would
Yo,
be
can I
great.
move?
Then I moved on to the Black dragon Calamite, and I got this really cool guy to shoot him out of the sky so I can start the fight. This man has infinite aura, by the way. That is fucking sick. The fight itself was also pretty difficult. This DLC was definitely a step up from the base game, as it should be. I actually prefer Calamite to most of the Elden Ring dragons. Then I fought the final boss of the DLC, Manus, Father of the Abyss. And this is the hardest fight in the DLC. This guy was stomping me for a while. He is so damn aggressive compared to everyone else. This whole DLC was really fun. I highly
Goodbye,
recommend it, even if it
guys.
gives you no trophies.
I'm going to go play something. I'm gonna go do something. Who knows? So, oh yeah, I forgot to edit my my boss thing. So I probably should edit it to 2 out of 6 instead of. So 2 out of 26 main boss.